Oh, wrong camera. Hold on. It's a Tuesday. You already know. You already know, guys. You already know. Okay, hi. Hello. Welcome. But for real, hello, welcome. My name is Lacey Jane, and this is Criminally Confident. I need for those of you watching right now to do me a favor and tell me if everything sounds okay, because I accidentally packed away my headphones, and that's why I was late to the show. I'm not quite sure what to do. And I know that I'll be able to hear. Um and I'll look for like a headphone jack while we're waiting, but that was that's why I've been running around. All right. So today is Tuesday, January 13th, my ex-boyfriend's birthday. And I can't believe I remember that. Isn't that weird? And we're going to be doing a little bit of get ready with me while watching some of the testimony from the Adrian Gonzales trial. If you are unaware, he is the police officer who is being charged for failing essentially to utilize force in the Uvalde massacre that happened in 2023. Also important to mention, if you haven't watched before, there are certain words that I cannot say. For instance, the thing that was used to hurt the children, I can't say that word. What happened to the children? That's also a no-no. So I might use some creative language, and you might have strong opinions about that, as do I, but I have to play by YouTube's rules. As someone who believes full-heartedly in the First Amendment, I think it's silly, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was wild and busy, and we got great news here in Columbus, Ohio, which is that an arrest was made in the unaliving of Spencer and Monique Tepe. I ran into some family members and friends last night of theirs, and out of absolute respect and appreciation for the information that they provided me with, I'm not going to share anything until I get the green light. But it'll be fine. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. I'd be happy to pass them on to see if that's something that they feel comfortable with me addressing. But yeah, that's just how sources work. I have to be respectful, and this is a very difficult situation that two families are having to endure. So if you could, this is huge, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And while you're at it, check to see if you are subscribed to my channel. Both things are free, and it helps me tremendously with the algorithm. It helps put this stream in front of other people because we're kind of slow right now. But once again, it's also a Tuesday. Tuesdays are, I used to say Fridays were my slow day, but do y'all know that we had the largest stream so far on Friday? We had 62.9 thousand views. Like, that's just bonkers. Absolutely crazy. And I think for a rolling 28-day period, we are at 560,000 views, over 500,000. And oh my God, look at that. Look at Maybe. Look at this chick. Look at this chick. She's just incredible. Thank you so much, Maybe. For those of you who have just been gifted a membership, please make sure to thank Maybe, throw some W's in the chat. And if you feel so inspired, please feel free to pass it on. And this is great for you because you're going to get access to some fun emojis that only members get. You are going to get access to members only streams. And I've done quite a few recently. So a couple involving the Spencer and Monique Tepe situation here locally, Columbus, Ohio. And did a little Amazon shopping with my members on Saturday. You guys saw my bikinis and my body lotion. Congratulations. All right. So what else do you get? Oh, and you get discounts for merch, which is going to be important because we are doing a total exciting live launch of my merch website on February 1st. I've spent a lot of time on it. So I hope that you guys like it. Let me see who just became a member before we start this. Isn't it funny that every time a membership is gifted, I pray that mean girl that one time, I think her name's Caitlin, she lives in my head rent free right now. She was like just so mean. Okay, Thomas Gross, Crystal Vance, Kathy Friend, Natasha Bennett, Tanya Yeager, Kathleen Brewer, Tony, Tanya Marie, my bad. Beer Belly Slots, love that. Tommy John and Sit Down Blue. You guys are all now members of the Criminally Confident club. I believe it's called The Crew. And so I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to use those resources that you're going to have access to over the next month. And YOLO, live it up. All right, let's get this thing started and on the road. Let me know if you have any audio issues on your end. I'm probably going to have to mute up for quite a bit. And we also have a guest, before I forget. We have a guest with us today. Bitsy McBobsons Esquire. Say, don't call me. DJT's been calling me nonstop, wanting me to defend this guy from Venezuela. I don't know what his deal is. I keep pressing the spam do not call me again button. Okay, you can go back to bed now. She's like, I don't know what you want me to do, lady. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay, we're on Friday. I feel like this is important for me to give you guys some context. This witness said something in court that was completely different than what she had said when she was deposed and like during an interview several years ago. That happens sometimes. That honestly happens, especially with victims of trauma. They'll have memories that come back to them. And there was a hearing that lasted all day last week about what she said and how the lawyers should proceed. And that is what we are going to watch right now. We're essentially going to watch her finish giving her testimony. And it's interesting. So just stick with me here.
Ma'am, could you come on up, please? Have a seat back in the witness stand. I appreciate it. Good morning.
Is that your screen? I know, but it has a signature. This is a new one. So if you're
Okay, we good to go?
That should sink it right there. You should be able to put it in here.
On Saturday, May 28th, 2022, is established. And now 12:58, Adrian Gonzales, on Saturday, May 28th, 2022, Special Agent Joshua Wilson, with Special Agent.
Okay, we ready for the jury? I'm gonna bring him in. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I'd like to get the jury in sometime this morning. So what do we have? Come on up.
I cannot find those headphone jacks for the life of me. Why are they still talking? Okay.
All rise for the jury. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated in the courtroom. When we recessed, the witness had been passed for cross-examination, so I'll ask the defense to proceed, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Ms. Hill, last time we left the day before yesterday, the jury left the room, and then now they're back today, and so I kind of want to go through a few things. I think the first thing I want to talk about though is just
You're in the right place.
you weren't there when we picked the jury, but we asked them if they gave us permission to ask tough questions of witnesses that are like you, have gone through trauma, have gone through tragedy, and so I just want you to know that we've asked them if we could do that, and every one of them there has agreed that we could.
Object to being outside the record, not proper for this witness to respond to.
Well, it's just that I'm about to go into some difficult stuff.
Okay, well, go ahead and ask the question, then I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead, proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Ms. Hale, you and I gone through that statement that you made to the Ranger, and we talked about that, and I played it for you the last time that we were here together.
Yes.
Okay. And so, Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to play the statement that.
All right, you never said.
And Ms. Hale, just to center it, this was a statement that was taken 4 days later when you were being interviewed by the Ranger about your experience and what happened that day at Robb Elementary. Is that right?
Yes. Poor lady.
.58 p.m. on Saturday, May 28th, 2022. This is Texas Ranger Josh Wilkinson. I'm here with Special Agent
That sounds good, right?
Curtis, and we're here today interviewing the suit. Correct your now. I'm sorry, Ms. Zook. It's now Hell or it was Hell?
No, it's not Hell.
Now, okay, so Mrs. Hell. So what I'll do, ma'am, and your first name is Stephanie, correct?
Yes.
And it's Stephanie.
Yes.
Okay. Hell. And your date of birth, ma'am?
5693.
No, you're fine. All right. And what's the contact number for you, ma'am?
830-688-6856.
6. All right. So as I discussed just a moment ago, I'm trying to have you kind of walk us through from start to finish what you remember.
Okay. I took my students from the 4th grade building at the library. I was before that, I guess I was in room, I think it's 130, with an interventionist. We were going through her manipulatives since she's retiring. So I was a little late picking up my kids, but the librarian had them outside because I'm usually very early. So I walked out around, I'm gonna say 11:26 or 27,
Okay.
with my students. And we headed to the playground, playground B is what we call it. As we were walking over there, I heard a loud boom, which sounded like a dumpster truck picking up trash. And so I get there very early, so I know that they do that in the morning. And I thought that was strange. Looked around, didn't see anything. We get to the playground, and I had just gotten to the little bench where I watch my students, and I heard two sounded like fireworks. And I again looked around. I was like, that's weird. There was a coach leaving to, I guess, have lunch, and I saw him turn around as well. And he has the campus radios, and I guess he heard something over the radio because I saw him pick it up, and then he just started running towards the gate. At that time, I knew something was wrong, so I told my students, like, run, let's go, let's go. We were pretty far from our classroom, so we went into a 2nd grade classroom where I was in there. Miss Wally ended up in there, and I don't know the other teacher's name off the top of my head since we just integrated campuses. But we were in the first room on wing D, closest to the playground.
Is that room 9?
No.
Okay.
If I have a map.
Yeah, that's fine.
We were in Miss Rodriguez's room, so room 19.
19. Okay.
That's where we ended up, me, Miss Rodriguez, and Miss Wally. I only ended up with 4 of my students in there with me. And the rest of them were in other classrooms here on this wing as well. Wing D.
Okay.
Once we got in there, we secured the room. Her kids were watching the movie. They paused it.
Can you guys confirm for me still that the audio is okay? Because I don't have myself muted. Please let me know. Thanks.
Under the desk, my kids huddled in the back behind one of her circle tables. The students kind of didn't take it seriously. I mean, they did, but they didn't because we've had so many bailouts lately that they thought, we're going to go again. It's just another bailout. I didn't receive the alert through Raptor system until I was already in the classroom and secured.
Okay.
So if I would have waited until we got a Raptor system alert, we would have been outside like the whole, pretty much for a while. So we were in the classroom, and I got a text message saying that, because my husband works with the volunteer fire department here, and he has a radio. So he said, don't go outside, there's something serious happening. But he wouldn't tell me what. And then a few minutes later, he said, there's a active shooter. Don't go outside, don't open the door to anybody, those sort of things.
And so you learned of the active shooter situation from your husband? Okay. And what's his name?
Tristan Hale. And then at that time, I was like, hey, I just told the other teachers, like, hey, there's somebody on the campus with a gun. We need to get the kids into the back of the room more secure. The teacher whose room we went into, she was unsure if her door was locked or not. So Miss Wally and her got, I don't know if it was an extension cord or a piece of rope that they tied off the door while I'm huddled in the back with the kids, making sure that they're getting down and stuff. The 2nd graders started getting a little, I don't want to call it hysterical, but they were crying. So I'm crawling around the floor, teaching them breathing treatments on like strategies, how to calm their crying, so that way they weren't making a lot of noise. At one point, the teacher, Miss Rodriguez, handed me a pair of scissors to defend ourselves if we needed to, or the best we could anyway. And we waited, and then we heard a knock on the door. We did not answer. And then a few minutes later, another knock on the door where that's when I don't know if it was a state trooper or border patrol, they told us that we were going to exit the room and we were going to run to the parking lot. So we got all the kids out and we just sprinted to the car parking lot. I think we were the first class out. And we got there, we huddled behind a car. These poor students, they were all carrying their scissors too, because I guess they saw us have them. So I went around and collected them and put them in my back pocket. Then we walked over to this empty field and stood with some trees. At
Not
this
me.
time, I walked up closer to the parking lot, so because I was worried about my other students and having my class together, because I wanted to make sure they also got out of the classrooms. Once I had my class all together, counted, made sure everybody was there, we got on a bus and went to the Civic Center.
Okay. Do you recall approximately what time you left to go to the center? I know timeline's probably a little shaky.
I have it on my phone.
That's fine. Yeah, you just want to just kind of look at it
I
and
have
have
the
real
Life
time.
360 app, and it actually told me when I left the campus.
It's always nifty to have.
But I don't know, I don't want to say anything.
No, you're fine. You don't have to be perfect. It's just approximation.
I left the campus at 12:21
12:21.
is when I said I left it. And then I got to Civic Center at around 12:40.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, maybe.
And I'm not familiar with the Raptor system. Is that something that's on your phone? Or?
It's
Okay.
an alert system where teachers can call in alerts, admin, outside neighbors, police departments, they can send it and it comes to our phones.
Is that something that's kind of protocol set up to where they should have notified? Is that something y'all kind of put your heads together on and just try to?
We just started using it at I don't know if it was the beginning of the year or right around the beginning of the year. So we've only been using it this year.
Okay.
But it just sends us notifications rather than coming over the intercom and saying, hey, we're on lockdown, or giving a code word or something like that.
Okay. And I know you've kind of brushed it a little bit, but what is the policy on the school regarding locked doors?
They do have to be locked all the time.
Okay. And that's for every building or? Okay. And do each of you have keys individually to access in and out of the
Yes.
building? Okay. So you don't,
I mean, I do have them. I think everybody does.
okay. All right. Do you know if someone has I'm sorry, what are you going to say?
Oh.
Do you know if someone has a master key, and if so, who would be the holder of the master key?
There are a couple people, the principal, assistant principal, counselor, the front office staff, Ms. Jeanette has a pair, and the custodians.
Okay, so quite a few people then. Okay. And okay, you've already answered that one. And so is there any protocol on what y'all do during an active shooter situation?
We make sure the door's locked, cover windows, the windows on the door. We huddle in some sort of secured area in the classroom, so.
Okay. To your knowledge, were there any issues with any of the doors, both exterior and interior doors, that they were having issues with locks or anything of that nature? To where the doors weren't locking like they needed to or anything of that
I
nature?
know that there's an ACE room, and this lady just started, I don't even know her name, but there's an ACE room in the 4th grade building that does not lock. It, because there were teachers in there last year that I knew, and it doesn't lock.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, but it doesn't. And then the ACE room is right next to the room where I was at. Oh, it's right here. But
And that's
it's 131 actually.
131?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as exterior doors to enter buildings, no, I always only come through, I don't even have to go through doors. I just come through the parking lot to my classroom most of the time.
Okay. And so with 131, are there any students that are typically taught in 131, or is that just kind of a spare room?
I think it's a spare room because it's the after school program.
We are
I think maybe that they have speech
a
in there
little bit
sometimes. I know my
behind
students go
White
to
Buffalo, but
132 for
welcome.
speech during the week.
Okay. And is 132 conjoined with 131? Do you know?
I've never been in the classrooms.
Okay.
But I think the buildings in the 4th grade have that door in
In the classroom itself?
that leads to the other classroom.
Okay. Okay. Do you know if it's common practice at all by teachers or students to prop doors open or anything of that nature?
Like, do we do it often or
Yeah.
is it done? I mean,
Yes.
I feel like we've all done it at some point because we are by ourselves most of the time. And if we're trying to bring items into the school, especially if they're heavy or awkward to hold, yeah, I mean, we've all done it. So,
Yes.
I mean, we're not supposed to, obviously, but I mean.
But it happens
Yeah,
through
it
just,
happens.
through daily, like I said, care. It makes sense that
But our
you have to.
custodian is Jaime. He's very religiously locks and makes sure the gates are locked whenever everybody comes in, the doors, and he's always going around making sure that they are locked, the exterior doors.
Okay. On the say you have an issue with a door handle, it's having issues with locking it. Do y'all keep any type of, is there any type of records that are kept on reporting it, or is it more like word of mouth? You go to Jaime and say, hey, there's this issue with this door, and
Because it will get done faster that way, yeah, that's pretty much.
more word of mouth?
We either go to the front office and say, hey, this is happening, or we let him know whenever we see him pass on campus. I don't know of any reporting, like, document that we have to fill out. I know there is probably one on the district website for major things like ACs and whatnot. But yeah, word of mouth pretty much.
Okay. With that, would that come in an email directly to Jaime, or is it more of you actually approach Jaime and tell him what you
We would usually
approach
approach him.
Okay. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you think's important, or that you feel is pertinent to this?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Sean, anything you think
I
of?
have two, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So when you said that when you all were in the play area and you ran into Mr. Rodriguez's classroom, you said you only had 4
My
of your students.
Yes.
Did you have 4 students going into play area B?
No, I had 10.
And then is it just the assumption that they just found?
Oh, I stood out and I did not go into the actual classroom until every student was inside of the classroom.
Gotcha.
I was
Okay.
standing at the door, making sure, and I checked the playground, and then once I didn't see any kids, shut the door behind me.
Okay.
And then my second question, when you said someone from, it was either Border Patrol or some agency came in, did they and get you to evacuate to the parking lot? Was that, did they get to you through a window,
Through the door
through the front door?
of the classroom.
Okay. Do we know how they entered?
We opened it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, gotcha.
After they said Border Patrol and Ms. Wally looked through the, to kind of remove the stuff a little bit, just to make sure. Just because we were hearing, because I'm in a large group text with people from Uvalde saying that they were starting to evacuate kids. And so we just checked, I guess, we were not supposed to, but after we identified it.
Yeah, check to make sure. Do you have any others?
No, that was my two.
I'm glad you brought that up. Regarding the locked doors, are you able to lock them from the inside of the classroom, so they have to be locked from the outside?
And
Okay.
you can only lock it with a key.
Okay. Is there a reason why they have it structured that way? But no, it's just how it is.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
In their old school, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot lock it from the inside.
Okay. All right. I think anything else you can think of based on any of those the follow-up questions you just had and that one that I just asked you?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. All right. Would you be okay if something comes up in the future, we learn something additional, if we reach out to you
Sure.
and follow up? Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time, Davis. So, and we'll let you get out of here. We'll get your property real quick and
Okay.
let you get out of here. We'll conclude the interview at this time here at 1:15 p.m. on Saturday, May 28th, 2022.
Yes.
Permission, Judge, I'm gonna move this easel to the demonstration.
Right.
Ms. Hale, as just to kind of go back to what we were talking about the day before yesterday, when Mr. Turner was here and he was questioning you, part of the things that you told the jury was that you saw a person dressed in black with long hair and a long rifle when you were out from the playground going into the room. Is that right?
Yes.
You also said that this person, Mr. Turner showed you this map. And you said that this person that you saw was on the south side area, I guess on the sidewalk next to the south entrance,
Closer to the parking lot.
closer to here.
Mhm.
Okay. And but I guess you would agree that he was the person that you saw, you told Mr.
I walked away and my dog threw up everywhere. What is going on right now in my life? I'm gonna keep going.
Turner, he was completely on the south side.
I'm sorry?
On that south side.
Yes, and I was pointing with the pointer.
Right. And just so I can be clear, I mean, this is the south side here, and you're pointing at this area.
Okay, are you okay? What's wrong with your phone?
And you also told Mr. Turner that
I
when you were
did.
on the playground, there was like dust that was sticking up that you put 2 and 2 together and realized you were being shot at.
Correct.
Okay. And then I think Mr. Turner at that point said, so if anybody were to say that there was no evidence that you were being shot at or the shots were coming in your direction on the playground, they would be wrong, and you agreed with him on that. You remember that? Actually, I objected.
I do remember answering yes, but I mean, that's not my job to prove it.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. And really what I'm doing is I need to go back through what we talked about before we talk about your statement to the ranger.
That's not my job to prove it. Overly aggressive in situations that don't necessarily call for it.
So when we heard that statement, we talked about the fact that it was, and I can back up and go sit down.
You would agree with me that in that statement that you gave the ranger 4 days later, 4 days after this happened, you made no mention of anybody dressed in black carrying a rifle or with long hair. You agree with that?
Correct.
And you would agree that you also didn't say anything about piles of dirt being kicked up on the playground.
Yes.
And since you didn't say anything about the person in black, you didn't say anything about seeing him on that south side of the building to the ranger.
Yes.
Now, those would all be important details. You agree?
Yes.
And I think when hearing the ranger as he interviewed you, you were given multiple opportunities to say whatever you knew or whatever you remembered about what happened, and honestly, the traumatic, tragic thing that happened to you 4 days before. You were given the opportunity to say anything that you heard.
Yes.
And then I want to talk in particular, when you came from the playground with your kids, you had 4 kids at the time, and I think you said total to the ranger that you went to the playground with 10 students.
Yes.
So how many students did you have total normal?
About 22.
About 22. And I think we talked about that. So I think the day before yesterday, you said that you thought you had 12 and 10 had gone home, but it seems like you had 10 and 12 had gone home.
I said it was about 10 to 12.
Sure. And which is fine. I mean, that's not the same kind of detail as seeing a person with a gun. You would agree with that?
Correct.
Okay. So, but regardless, it seems like more than half of your students had left after the awards ceremony.
Yes.
Or perhaps, and I don't know, because maybe you remember or not, that perhaps they didn't come at all to school that day because they were sick or on vacation, that something else was going on.
Possibly.
Possibly. And I would expect you to remember the attendance, of all the students and who was there originally in the morning and things like that. But one of the things you told the ranger when you got into the room, from the playground, you get in the room, that you had second graders, right?
Yes. I went into a second grade classroom.
Got it. And your kids, and I'm sorry, I just forgot, your kids, were they in third grade?
Third grade. Yes.
All right. Because one of the things you said, you specifically talked about the second graders. And you said the second graders, they weren't taking it seriously. And the word you used was, here we go again, it's just another bailout. You remember saying that?
Yes. I remember referencing the bailout.
Yes. And so could you tell us, because I guess that phenomenon or that experience is common to Uvalde, but may not be common in other places. So could you tell us?
Yeah, this was
what you were
crazy to
referencing
me.
with that?
When an illegal person, I guess, comes over and bails out of their vehicle or whatever they're in and is around, I guess, running around town possibly, there could be possible danger. So we would go on lockdown.
Right. And thank you for explaining that. And I do want to tell you this too. I think you deserve a lot of credit for acting on your own when you saw the coach running in, because one of the things you said is you didn't get the raptor alert. If you would have waited out there for the raptor alert, you would have been out there with those kids. And I will agree that if you had waited, then that shooter would have been near or around in that area. But and I think you're doing that to save your kids' lives, honestly. So So you get credit for that. And we appreciate that. But getting in the classroom and now talking about those bailouts, illegal, we talk about illegal, people who are undocumented that come over, and I guess it was a common thing at that time in Uvalde. It was a common thing.
Say what you want to
that these
say.
bailouts
Come
would happen,
on.
where there would be some sort of accident or wreck or some criminal activity or something that would cause people to bail out, and it would cause schools to go on lockdown, like yours, if it happened, I guess, in your area.
Correct.
And I don't know if you know this, but since you were a teacher there for that year, and you were a teacher there in like February to May, there's
I believe that. I do.
an estimate that there was about 50 bailouts. In that.
Objection, Your Honor, that's outside the record.
Well, I'm asking if she knows.
You can answer if you know, ma'am. I'll overrule the objection.
About 50 bailouts from that February to May time period. And the reason I'm asking if you know is because some of those bailouts would be causing the schools to go on lockdown, right?
I'm unsure of how many there were.
But there were a lot.
I mean, it depends
Okay.
on how you, or what you consider a lot. I don't know.
I guess I'll ask what you consider a lot. Did it seem like you were having to lock down for bailouts a lot?
Not an excessive amount, but enough to be noticed.
Right. And I think that's why when you talk to the ranger, here we go again, it's just another bailout, right? Those are the words that you used,
That the kids said, yes.
that the kid said. Okay, the words. that
I
you
believe
used
so,
to-
yes.
Right. The words that you used to the ranger about what the kid said, right?
Yes.
So they're second graders going, here
Thank
we go.
you.
It's just another bailout at the time, right?
Correct.
Now, you also told the ranger that you were safe. Well, I mean, nobody was safe, but you were at least in the classroom and kind of had started barricading when you got a text message from your husband.
Correct. In the statement, it says that.
Right. And in the text message, you said at first, because he's a volunteer firefighter, you said at first he told you there was something going on, and he's warning his wife, which any husband would. He's worried about her. He's telling you, be careful, like be aware something's going on, because he was hearing, I guess, something over a police scanner or something else. Is that
Yes. Or he was on the phone. I don't know.
sure? And then you told the ranger that after that you got a text message from him saying that there was an active shooter.
That's what I said at the time. Yes.
That's what you said at the time, and that was a true statement. What you said.
What I thought to be, or what I remembered to be at the time. I was still in shock. You could hear it in my voice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you were, but there were. Let's
Why
talk about
is
some of those
he so
details.
aggressive?
Your husband, you were communicating with your husband inside the classroom,
Correct.
Ooh, I like that.
and you knew enough to say that he told you that that there was an active shooter, and then the officer or the ranger asked you. So that's how you found out there was an active shooter from your husband, and you agreed with him. You heard that.
Yes. I don't know. Can I speak?
Well, so the prosecution is going to get an opportunity to ask you questions after, but at this point, and I know it may be hard, but I have to ask the questions, and I'm just asking for the answers to the questions I'm asking. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So 4 days after this had happened, and you sat down with the ranger, and he said, based on that text from your husband, that's how you found out there was an active shooter, and you agreed with him. Is that correct?
Based on that statement, yes.
Yes, and that's what I'm asking, what we've heard in the statement.
Yes.
As far as I want to talk about the sound, because there was also things that you said in that statement that you also said here and you testified to. You talked about the scissors. You had the scissors, children had the scissors. Maybe in mimicking you or trying to do what they could as well. And that you said that in the statement, you also testified to that.
Yes.
And you were in shock back then, but you remembered that detail and you definitely talked to the ranger about it after.
Correct.
I also think that you talked to him about the cord, I guess maybe an extension cord or rope that was being thrown over the top of the door to prevent the door from being able to be opened. You talked to the ranger about that, and you told him about that detail.
Yes.
Even though you were obviously, and of course you had gone through that traumatic event, that's a detail that you remember.
Yes.
You told him about hearing the sound like a dumpster truck. And we the last time you and I were here, we talked about that, about what that sounds like. And would you agree? I guess it sounds something like metal being slammed down on concrete,
Yes.
like a huge metal on concrete.
Yes.
Now you know now that the shooter wrecked into that culvert. I guess that concrete culvert that's, if you kind of go out front of the school and past that field, there's a fence and then there's that concrete culvert, and you know now that the shooter wrecked into that culvert.
Yes.
Okay, so what I want to ask is now knowing that the shooter wrecked into that culvert, meaning flew off the road and slammed down into the culvert, is that consistent or similar? The truck doing that, a metal part doing that, is that consistent or similar with the sound that you heard of the dumpster truck?
Possibly, yes.
Right, because it would involve the same type of action that you were talking about, which is heavy metal being slammed down on the concrete.
Yes.
Ooh, I have
And
blue
then you
mascara
said in your
too.
statement to the ranger, you said after that you heard two fireworks, like two fireworks. What it
Might be
sounded
a
like?
little excessive.
Correct.
Do you know now that after the shooter wrecked into the culvert, he took shots at the people who were coming out to the culvert to help him?
Yes.
Right. And so is that consistent, hearing the dumpster truck slam into the concrete and or hearing the dumpster truck sound that you heard?
Sure.
And then hearing
Can
the
we
fireworks
just
sound, is
move
that
forward?
consistent with what you know now, that after the wreck into the culvert, the shooter was shooting at people who were trying to help him?
Yes.
But you did not tell the ranger 4 days after this incident that you heard any other shots or any other fireworks sounds but those two.
I'm sorry.
In this statement, you did not tell the ranger at the time, 4 days after the incident, that you heard any other fireworks sound other than those two, the two fireworks sounds that you heard.
No.
And when the coach, you told the ranger that the coach, I guess what you did was you observed the coach
Ooh.
on his radio, because the coaches, I guess, have radios.
Yes.
Okay, the teachers don't.
No.
The coaches have radios, and you said you observed him. What you told the ranger was that you saw him saying or hearing something on the radio, and then you saw him tell the kids to run, and he started running.
I saw his face, yes, and then him moving quickly.
Right, and I'm sure seeing his face, you saw alarm, concern, fear.
Yes.
Right, and I'll go back to that, and intelligently on your part, you assessed the situation, saw the fear on the coach, saw him running, and you took your kids and you got out of there, right?
Correct.
But you didn't tell the ranger that you heard the coach say anything, like there was something, whatever was going on. You just observed it and you followed your instincts, and you're trying to, and you ran with your kids and tried to get them to a safe class.
Yes. I mean, he could have been yelling something. Now he was saying get inside, but I guess I just blocked it out at the time whenever I gave my statement.
Well, I'm not, something like that. To me, whether you did hear something or not, the point I really wanted to make was that you were able to assess danger and get your kids to safety based on on the observations that you were making. That's what you told the ranger at the time.
Yes.
Which again, we're glad that you did. And and at the point that you were talking to the ranger, you knew that the person, the monster
This is
responsible
brutal.
for doing this to these children, you knew that person was dead.
I'm sorry.
The monster responsible for doing what he did to these children and hurting these children, you knew that he was dead when you talked to the ranger.
Yes.
And you understood that the purpose for you giving the ranger information, the reason they were talking to all of you.
Object assuming what's in the ranger's mind.
I-
That's something that you can possibly know. Oh, okay, if you'll rephrase it, I'll just take a Jim. Okay.
I want to talk about what's in your mind, right? In your mind, when you're going to sit down with the ranger after something like this has happened, that you were a witness to part of that, in your mind, you understood that you were sitting there to give information as part of an investigation into what happened.
Yes.
Right. And in your mind, you knew that it was important to tell the ranger everything of any significance that you saw or experienced during that time.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
No, it's okay. You knew and understood while you were sitting with the ranger that it was important for you, just like everybody, I'm sure, who sat with any law enforcement after this happened. You knew and understood that it was important to tell the ranger, to tell this person any relevant information that you knew about what you experienced.
I knew that it was mandatory and a requirement. Yes.
But let me ask you this, right? Even if it wasn't mandatory, even if you weren't required to do it, you would have sat down and talked to them about it. You would have participated in the investigation.
if I had to.
Well,
Really?
If it was not mandatory, I would not have gone.
because it's hard to talk about.
Yes.
It's traumatic. I understand. But I think on balance, ultimately, you would know that it's important that they go through this investigation, try to find out what happened, how it happened, and to try to prevent it from happening again.
Correct.
And so we do appreciate that you did participate in the investigation. An hour later, I guess after you spoke to the ranger, you came in and you testified to the grand jury.
An hour later?
No, later,
Oh,
after. Because it wasn't an hour later.
Yeah.
It was years later.
Yes.
Years later, you sat down and testified to a grand jury. And in your grand jury testimony, you did say, I don't know if you've seen it, but you were there, but you did say that you saw clouds of dust. You didn't say to the ranger, you said to the grand jury. Did you know that?
Yes.
But you never said to the grand jury that you saw anybody dressed in black with long hair carrying a long gun. Did you know that you also did not say that to the grand jury years later when you were interviewed?
Yes. I just heard him say it up there or somewhere. Maybe we talked on the phone, but yes.
Sure. So, and then, I guess in December of 2024, so, I'm sorry, 2025, we're in 2026 now. In December, which probably close to a month ago, came in and talked to the prosecutor. And there, for the first time, if you understand it, you gave them a description
Yes, from what I can recall.
of a man in black on the south. Well, did you tell them he was on the south side of the building?
They didn't ask, and I didn't say because I'm not very great with directions.
So, right. And I'll tell you what, I'm not either. Judge, may I first submit?
Can we just like
I'm not
finish this up, buddy?
But I think that's why they have these. This is the South, and I'm not asking you to be Great West South. Did they, in their interview with you, did they ask you to point to a part of the map where you saw this person?
Not that I remember.
Okay, and you said that they didn't ask at all.
Not that I remember. So I would have answered it or asked to show. I
Right.
mean, they might have. I don't know, but I don't remember telling them where.
But you understand now that would have been in December. That would have been the first time that anybody involved in the case would have heard you say that you described somebody that looked like the shooter.
This
Yes,
is
but from
we're
what
getting
I
there now.
have in my
Okay.
memory, I've said it. I said it during the grand jury. I thought that I did.
It turns out that you did not. But I think ultimately what I want to be clear on is when you spoke, are you saying that when you spoke to these people and you said for the first time that you saw the shooter, that not one person in that room asked you where he was?
From what I recall, I don't remember being asked where or to show. I don't remember.
And I guess, and you also know that information was never given to us.
Now I know that. Yes.
So, and I'll tell you, that's not on you, it's not your job, right? Just like you said, your job's not to do the investigation.
Okay, I thought of you.
You're a witness, you're a victim.
Okay,
just like
this
everybody there. that was
this
at that
is
school,
important.
That day. The
Awkward.
Were you aware, or did you know, because the ranger was asking questions about the locks at the school. And you said, yeah, sometimes we're alone, or, we prop it open, I know we're not supposed to. And just so we can be clear, I mean, no.
Okay, just to be clear, as he just said that, what he's doing right now, he is asking these questions in all these bizarre different ways because he wants to be 110% sure that the state did not commit a Brady violation, meaning they had information that they didn't share with the defense so that the defense could have an expert to refute whatever point was being withheld. that is the very layman's terms way of explaining what is going on here. And so he's thinking of every possible way that you could try to say this. It's a lot.
Buddies.
But he's almost
Nobody
done.
letting you had anything to do with an unlocked door at any place in the school, personal, right? That has nothing to do with you. But I'm asking more about the past. Were you ever aware of the school district officials, like the principals, the administration, issuing magnets to teachers that would defeat the door law?
No.
Okay. Did you, and what I mean by that is, I guess, were you aware of any teachers or substitute teachers using magnets instead of keys to cover up the part where the door was locked so that the door could be open?
Possibly, but I don't think that the school district gave them the magnets for that purpose.
Yeah, no.
And so, as far as, I think what I hear you say is, as far as you know, as far as you're
I don't.
aware, you don't know that they were doing that.
Yes.
They wouldn't do
You said
that.
possibly, is that something, I'm just trying to explore. Is that something that you had seen before? Have you seen these magnets being used in that way at the school?
I've heard of people doing it. Yes. Never physically seen it, any other teacher at that school do it.
Okay, right, but you heard of it as a practice with some teachers, but you hadn't personally witnessed it or seen teachers do it. Do I have that right?
Correct.
Judge, I'll pass it.
Redirect. Thank you. I just want to be a little bit more specific on information provided to the defense.
Okay.
Okay. Of the three things that are up there, saw clouds of dust. You told the grand jury about that,
Yes.
and that was provided to the defense.
Correct.
And you were also asked where the shooter was. Is that correct? Where the shots were coming from? Is that correct?
Here today?
No,
Or
in front of the grand jury.
I don't remember.
Would you like to refresh your memory?
Please.
Madam Pro General? Yes.
This girl must feel very strongly that this guy on trial did something
Okay.
wrong. She hates it.
Yeah, it says on there.
And so were you asked where the shots were coming from?
Yes.
And did you tell the grand jury?
Yes.
And was that provided to the defense?
Yes.
But you were not asked how the shooter was dressed. Is that correct?
Correct.
In front of the grand jury?
No. Well, I don't believe so. Not in that part that I just read.
Now I want to go back to the questioning that's been occurring. Today's question has been very specific. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Sorry.
In front of the grand jury was it very specific?
Not like this, but I don't know. It's a little more specific
I
here.
love my way we talk.
And with the Rangers, did they just simply ask you to tell them what you knew?
Yes.
Were you conducting the investigation?
No.
Did you know what was specifically important to them?
No. I didn't think that what I had to say was as
So they asked you to explain
serious.
what happened? Is that
They
correct?
did. Yes.
And you told them?
Yes.
And when they asked you, is anything else important, did you know what was important to them?
No. I was ready to get out of there.
Was it your job to know what was important to them?
That was subjectively.
Oh, really, objection? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was it important for you to know what was important to law enforcement?
No, it's not my job.
And now I want to go back to those events if we could, okay?
Okay.
You hear a sound? Did you hear a sound?
Yes.
And did you attribute it to something that you were familiar with?
Yes.
And what was that?
The dumpster.
And now Mr. Goss's questioning very well could have been a wreck instead, correct?
Yes.
So you attributed it to something you were familiar with.
Correct.
Then you hear what you think are firecrackers.
Yes.
So you hear a sound,
Yes.
attributed to something you're familiar with.
Correct.
And according to Mr. Goss, now that very well could have been gunfire at another human being, correct?
Correct.
And then you have a coach, correct?
Correct.
That tells you, or what is your testimony? Did he tell you to go on lockdown, or what, did he say anything to you?
I don't remember if he said anything. I just saw his face and I saw him pull up the radio and
But at that time,
I knew.
I believe you said to Mr. Goss that you were thinking bailout.
no, when I got into the classroom, the kids said that they were not taking it seriously because of all the bailouts.
Okay.
But I didn't think that it was a bailout,
Oh,
like based on the coach's face, I guess, and
Okay.
everything.
all right,
That never, I guess, crossed my mind.
very good.
Baby.
Thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just what-
Oh, no.
Thank you, Judge. The prosecutor asked you out of the three things on here, and we talked about it, that you did say that there was clouds of dust to the grand jury years later, but not at the time, right?
Correct.
So the three things, these two things were not given to the defense, and you understand that?
Yes, I do now.
The,
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear what the last question was. It may be important.
Oh.
Did you say?
I said, out of the three things, you said the three things on the board, I said, those three things, those two things weren't given to the defense. 1 and 2.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that.
And just because Mr. Turner asked you, was it important to you to know if it's important to law enforcement? And you said it's not your job, and I agree. It's their job, right? But you agree that seeing a man with a gun on your campus is an important detail that you would recognize instantly that you would need to talk about.
I mean, I know that now, yes.
Well, and you would have known that then.
Possibly.
Because I think what you were saying when he was talking was is you didn't think that what the information you were providing was, in the scheme of things, I guess very important. I didn't hear you because you were talking.
Yes, I didn't think that what I had to say was very important. I didn't think that it mattered based on or compared to everything else.
I understand, but seeing a shooter and being shot at are important details. You would agree with that?
I mean, it depends on
When
who
you say
you
it
are.
like
I mean, I don't know, I guess. Possibly.
I'll pass.
Just one more question, Your Honor. Of the three things, Mr. Dawes agreed that you did tell the grand jury it was provided to them that they saw clouds of dust on the playground, correct?
Yes.
But he said that you did not, or the information was not provided, and you did not say before that you saw the person on the south side of the building. Is that correct?
Correct. Oh,
But you were asked that question from the
yes.
grand jury,
I
weren't you?
read that. Yes, sorry.
And would you tell us what you told the grand jury?
Yes, it was towards obviously the building indicating. So I'm guessing I was pointing at the time or something. At that point, the coach had yelled, "Hey, get in the room."
No further than that. I'll just the whole point. So the specific question was asked where, and you said obviously toward the building, and then it says indicated. So you pointed to something. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that information was provided to the grand jury
Yes. Sorry.
and the defense.
Yes.
Okay, Judge. All right. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this to you. I'm sorry he keeps doing it. Saw this person on south side of building, and I'm not irritated with you. It's them. Saw this person on south side of building. Now, what you just read from the grand jury, you agree with
that?
You never told the grand jury that you saw the person on the south side of the building. However, he's trying to make it seem. You agree with that?
Yes.
Shots coming from a location is not, I saw this person on the south side of the building. You would agree with that as well?
Yes, but wouldn't it be? I don't know. It's kind of implied.
You're saying that it's kind of implied, but it's this phrase right here. I saw a shooter, and he was on the south side of the building. That was never said to the grand jury or at any other time, except in December when he told the prosecutors and they didn't tell us.
Yeah.
Pass it.
Oh, he definitely feels like
ma'am,
there's a
will you,
Brady.
do me a favor, if you'll go with the bailiff momentarily, don't leave, and we'll call you back in shortly. Members of the jury, I'm gonna give you a recess a little early, take 15 minutes,
Can you
and remember my
talk
instructions
to-
for everyone rise for the jury.
K-Dub about Discord. Yeah, because I don't have a free hand right now.
Can you be seated in court, please? Let the record reflect we're outside the presence of the jury. The witness has completed the testimony. Where are we at on motions?
Yes, Your Honor. After considering the testimony of the witness, we are asking the court to avail us, the defense, of the remedy of instructing the jury that they cannot consider her testimony at all for any purpose in its entirety.
He must be
The failure to turn over the specific, that specific piece of critical evidence has put us to a disadvantage with this witness, has put us to a disadvantage with our theory, as I've kind of outlined to the court in the ex parte brief that I provided. And we do not believe that, again, the court has denied the mistrial, but we do not believe that that allowing the jury to consider her testimony for any purpose, we believe that it'll affect the due process rights of the defendant and our ability to continue in the defense of the case in the way that we had set it up and prepared for in the first place.
Say,
Yes, Your Honor. the accusation yesterday was significant. It gave us a significant pause. The three very important things were left out. Number one, the shots flaring up around her. Number two, where the shooter was. And number three, the clothing that he was wearing. That gave us significant pause. But lo and behold, yesterday, we were able to find out they did actually have the information about the shots being fired up behind her. The evidence has been developed today that they did actually have the evidence that she said that the shots, I agree, not the gunman, but the shots came from the building and then indicated. So they do have information that she was aware of where the shots were coming from. That does leave, though, Your Honor, still that disturbing point about the clothing not being turned over. We agree that is improper. We should have done it because it was new information. Didn't seem all that significant since we had photographs of the shooter in black. But nonetheless, we believe, number one, it has all been cured through cross-examination. He's pointed out that she didn't say it originally. The jury is aware of the truthful nature of her conduct all the way, and they weren't ready and prepared to do that. It has not caught them off guard as of now because of the court granting a continuance. Second of all, Your Honor, we believe that if the court does believe some kind of measure is appropriate, we ask the court not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that is the only surprise that they're addressing is the black hair and the gun, and it would be appropriate if the court feels like that caught them off guard and has affected their defense to instruct the jury not to consider that portion of the testimony.
Your Honor, may I respond? I feel like I'm getting gaslit with this clothing thing. That is not the issue about black clothes. It is the fact that she said that she saw a man who matched the description of the shooter with a gun. And that's the key issue. It's not his clothing or the fact we know that he was wearing black. And ultimately, I think what the defense, what the prosecution doesn't know about the defense strategy, the court does know. There's things that we could have done and investigations we could have made.
Mr. Goss, I've heard enough. Again, Mr. Turner, you don't have the benefit of the ex parte brief that Mr. Goss filed, and I think you'll probably gleaned issues from the arguments, but there's no doubt that this was critical to the strategy. And I don't think I have any choice, having denied the mistrial, other than to craft a remedy that will protect the due process rights and hopefully avoid any appellate review that would result in this case being reversed. So I am reluctantly going to instruct the jury to disregard her testimony in its entirety when they come back out.
He's basically saying, like, I have to have the jury dismiss anything she said because this is a potential area where an appellate court could decide to look into this further, and he could be held responsible because he allowed that information to come in, and it was critical for the defense in order for them to craft a good plan. I recognize some of what I'm saying is literally what you guys just heard, but in case you didn't hear it, now you've heard it. So hopefully that helps.
If we can bring her back in momentarily, the witness.
Hi. Maybe. I don't think maybe heard me earlier.
Ma'am, could you come up to the bench here very quickly? We're going to let you go here in a minute. I hate to talk to people from the bench. You know, you don't sound just right here. I just want to tell you, you may hear later on that I will instruct the jury to disregard your testimony, but I want to emphasize to you, you did absolutely nothing wrong. It is not on you. And I want to tell you just from personal experience, memories of traumatic events
100%.
change are different, or you recall more or less. I had a personal experience many years ago. My wife and I were hit by a drunk driver, and I spent 2 months in the hospital. Apparently they almost lost me in the emergency room, but revived me. And I remember that event very clearly, that truck coming at us and trying to get out of the way. But every time I think about it, it's a little different. And that's because of stress and trauma. So nothing about this is on you. We appreciate your bravery that day, and we appreciate your testimony and being brave enough to come in here, and you are excused with our thanks.
Wow.
Take care. All right,
She's probably
going to
gonna
take the rest of the recess till the jury comes back out. So I think they got about 5 more minutes or so. We're in recess.
Can you imagine how devastating it would be to hear that? Like, hey, we know that you've spent the last 3 years completely freaking out about this testimony that you're going to have to give, only to go give it and then have it completely dismissed. It wasn't her fault. It really wasn't her fault. I agree with the judge. Trauma and stress does crazy stuff to the mind. Hey, maybe, are you around? Can you explain the Discord situation to KB? Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Oh, okay. That's all I said. I was asking if you could do that. Because I didn't have hands free.
In May of 2022, where were you employed?
We'll find out. They did actually have the information about the shots being found out behind it. The evidence has been developed.
In that regard, and I'm going to expect you to follow it. So listen carefully to this instruction, if you would, ladies and gentlemen. We have just heard testimony, as you know, from the witness, Stephanie Hale. The court, outside your presence, after a hearing mandated by law, has ruled that the witness's testimony will be and must be excluded as a matter of law. Therefore, you are instructed to disregard any and all testimony provided by Stephanie Hale, and her testimony will play no role in your analysis, deliberations, and decision in this case. With this instruction, you are reminded that you are bound by your oath as a juror to follow the ruling of the court as provided. So please remember, ladies and gentlemen, mandated by law, don't speculate about it, don't wonder about it, don't hold it against either side, just follow my instruction.
Fucking think about it.
Right. Good morning. Will you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony you're given this cause will be the truth, self you got. You can have a seat over here. Thank you, ma'am.
Hey guys, if you could please make sure to like the stream and check to see if you're subscribed. It's free to do both things and it will help me a lot with our algorithm. We're kind of lacking right now. Thank you. Hi, Shelly. Welcome. Okay, what's the hold up?
Full name for the record.
My name is Emilia Amy Franco Marin.
Good morning, Ms. Marie. In May of 2022, where were you employed?
At Robb Elementary, Uvalde CISD.
Okay. And what was your job position at that time?
Maybe.
I was the ACE coordinator.
Okay, and for the jury and for the record, can you explain what an ACE coordinator is?
It is an after-school centers program. So I ran the after-school program for the children there at Robb.
And approximately how many kids were in your program?
150.
I was going to say
Okay.
a lot.
And what campuses did you work at, or was it only Robb?
I've worked for the district for 25 years. So I have worked at different campuses.
Okay. And just for the record, where is Robb Elementary located? In what town and what county?
Uvalde, Texas.
And how long had you been at Robb Elementary as of May of 2022?
I've been there for a month.
A month. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And what room number did you work in? What was your room number at Robb?
So in this trial, White Buffalo, the witnesses have chosen not to have their faces on TV, and state law allows them to make that request. So we see everyone's chest, except for like the special agents and the Texas Rangers.
132.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Poor lady,
Yeah.
you can hear her. She's a mess.
Witness has previously been admitted as exhibit number 1. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna head over there so the jury, you don't have to get up too far.
I'm going to use this shadow as a blush.
So, Ms. Marin, approximately where is your room number with regard on this map? And for the record, what we're looking at is a map of Robb Elementary, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's an aerial view of the school.
Correct.
So where on this map is your room?
My room is located.
Okay. And what we're looking at is the west side of the campus, the northwest building, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's slightly southeast of the street of Geraldine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Had you previously been trained as far as a lockdown with Uvalde CISD?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you know what to do as far as what you're supposed to do in a lockdown situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And for the jury, can you explain what that is?
Because I am in a classroom, turn off the lights and lock my door.
Okay. Now, are you still employed with the Uvalde Independent School District?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take you back to May 24th of 2022. What time did you arrive at school that day?
Approximately about 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. And is that the time that you usually arrived on campus?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So why did you arrive early that day?
My grandson attended Robb Elementary that year, and they had a award ceremony. So I arrived early so I could be there for his ceremony.
Okay. And what grade was your grandson in?
He was in the 2nd grade.
Okay. And approximately when did his award ceremony end that day?
I'm going to say maybe about 9:30.
Okay. And what were your plans for the rest of that morning?
Every other morning that I would have to show up to work, I was always at another campus. And that morning I wasn't scheduled to go anywhere else. So I stayed there and I began to plan the celebration for my students for the next day. So I went to my classroom to prepare.
Okay. And this celebration, what kind of celebration was it?
It was an end of the school year celebration. So we were going to have a dance for the students and their families.
Okay. And were you coordinating the celebration with another teacher?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was his name?
Gabriel Gonzales.
Okay. And what were you and Mr. Gonzalez's plans for? Was he supposed to be doing something?
He was the one that was in charge of purchasing food, snacks for the dance. So he came over to my classroom and we spoke about what we were going to serve, where we were going to serve it. And he had a list of what snacks and food he was going to get. And so we spoke about that. And then he left to the grocery store to go purchase the items.
Okay. And while he was at the grocery store, were you still in your classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at some point, did you hear back from Mr. Gonzales?
He texted me and said, hey, I've already got the groceries. Can you go and unlock the gate so we can deliver everything through the back and not have to carry everything from the front?
So if you were pointing at the back, when you say the back, can you tell the jury what area you're talking about?
We call this the back of the campus, and that was considered the front.
Okay. And for the record, you pointed to the far northwest side of the campus off of Geraldine Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a gate there?
Yes.
Okay. And is that gate usually locked?
That gate is always locked.
Okay. So when he called you and said, meet me at that west end gate so we can get the groceries in, what did you do then?
I unloaded the stuff that was on a cart in my classroom, and I pulled the cart out to the door, and I left it there, and I went back inside my classroom. After a few minutes, I said, he's probably on his way. So I pushed the cart out of the door as I'm going out. I go out, and I put the rock on the door, and I go out to the gate.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Approximately what time did Mr. Gonzales contact you or text you?
It was probably about 11:20.
Okay. And you put the rock in the door for what reason?
So I wouldn't have to lock it and unlock it, lock it and unlock it, because it's always supposed to be locked.
And you thought it was locked that day? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you took the...
Are you guys catching on? Are you picking up what they're throwing down?
You took the cart out to... You were going to meet Mr. Gonzales there. Did you have to unlock that far west gate, that exterior gate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was your experience with that gate?
I have employees that would always unlock it when we were releasing the students, but that day I was by myself, so I went in. It has a lock, so I went and I unlocked it, and it's always hard because there's part of that like a pole that goes into the cement, and you have to kind of jimmy it, and then it'll come up, and that unlocks it completely. Two other times that I had tried that, I couldn't do it. So that day I unlocked the lock, and then I said, I hope I can pull it up. So I jimmied it a little bit and I pulled it up and I said, I did it. So it was unlocked. And so I pushed the cart against the gate. And I said, I can't leave this spot because the gate isn't locked. So I'm standing there waiting for him to come.
Okay, you were concerned about leaving that area with an unlocked gate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And after that, what did you hear?
I'm standing there waiting for him and I'm facing east because he's coming. He's going to come from that direction. I'm standing there and I hear a loud vehicle from behind me, which is the west side. I turn around and I look and I see a vehicle going real fast. And I see him crash into the area of the ditch. There was like a post there and the truck crashed. As it hit it, it kind of went up and then it went into the ditch.
Okay, now I want you to go back to that map and point to the area on the map where you're saying you saw this car hit the ditch.
The truck was coming from here and it went in this way. It hit the rail right there and then crashed into the ditch.
Okay. And for the record, you pointed to Grove Street. So the vehicle was traveling south on Grove and hit the ditch off of Geraldine and Grove Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once you saw that accident, what did you do, Miss Monique?
I ran inside.
You didn't have your phone with you?
No, I ran inside to get my phone. I kicked the rock. The door closed as I ran in. I dialed 911 and I ran back outside. When I ran outside, I put the rock back on the door. The call went through and I'm running to the scene of the crash.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling the operator, a truck crashed on the west side of Rob's school. It crashed into a ditch.
Okay.
I kept saying that over and over because I knew that they needed the location.
Okay. And when you're on the phone with 911 and you're telling her where this accident happened, what do you see then?
I'm still running as I'm telling her the location. So I'm running to where the truck crashed. As I'm running, I'm holding the phone with my left hand.
And let me stop you right there. Why are you running towards the crash?
Whoever had crashed.
Okay. So you're running, and what do you see?
As I'm running, I see on the right side of me, two men running from the funeral home. They were running towards the crash, and then I see them stop. When they stop, I'm still running. And I see them turn around. One of them falls as they turn around, and they run back. And he yells, "He's got a gun." And I turn around, and I start running back. And I tell the operator, "He's got a gun."
Okay. Did you see that gun at this point?
Not at that moment.
But you heard the funeral workers or the people from the funeral home say that. Okay. So then what did you do?
As I'm running back, I run into the building. I kick the rock and I close the door. And I run to the classroom. And I bang on the teacher's door across from me. I'm banging on.
Hey guys, we're getting to a really important point in this testimony. If you could please do me a favor and make sure to hit the thumbs up button, that would help significantly with the algorithm. Things are a little bit slow today, so anything will help. Make sure you're subscribed while you're at it. We do this every day at 3:30, Tuesdays through Fridays. Thanks so much.
The door, and she opens the door. She says, "What is going on?" And I said, "Call the front office. There's a shooter on campus." She closed the door, and the operator asked me, "What is he wearing?" I ran back to the door.
Okay.
I'm holding the phone with my left hand, and I'm looking through the window, and I tell him, black hoodie, black hair, He threw a gun. He threw a bag. He threw another gun. He jumps the fence. And then I told her he's coming. When he jumped the fence, he jumped it and then he like shakes himself off. And he picks up what he threw and he's walking towards the campus.
Okay. You say walking, not running.
No, not running.
Okay. Now, at this time, had you seen if he was shooting or?
He was shooting.
Okay. And what area was he shooting at?
He was shooting towards the south area where the children were at in the PE area.
Did you see children out there in that area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, again, I want you to point to the board behind you, and if you could point to the area where you saw the children playing.
They were playing here in this area, right here.
Okay. And for the record, you pointed to the southeast area on that map between the south end of the fourth grade building and what's that building below the very bottom on that map?
The pavilion,
Okay.
this right here,
Okay.
the pavilion, and that's where the PE classes are.
Okay. And what can you hear from the kids at this time?
They're screaming.
Thank you for the
Okay.
girls, White Buffalo.
So- And are they running into the building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once you go back into the building and you start banging on your coworkers' doors, what did you do then?
After I told the 911 operator what he was doing, I run back to her door and I bang on the door again. And she opened it and I said, "What did they say?"
And when you say they, who were you referring to?
The office.
Okay.
Because I had asked her, call the front office. There's a shooter on campus. So when I banged on the door again, she opened the door and I said, "What did they say?" And she said, "They didn't answer." And I said, "Oh my God." And I turn around and I see the kids from the south door already running in and screaming.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, Miss Money, and I need you to point to the board and show the jury when you say that you kids coming in from the south door, where are you talking about?
I'm still right here and the kids are coming in from this door,
Okay.
the south door, from the PE area.
Okay, and for the record, you pointed to the south end of that building.
Yes.
And so the jury understands where your classroom is, that length of the building, is that a hallway?
Yes.
And then then the hallway goes south.
Yes.
So it's almost like a shape of a T.
Yes.
So you go to the middle of that hallway, running from east to west, and you can see the hallway going north to south.
Yes.
And that's where you see kids running in.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And they're running in from that south end.
From the south end.
Okay. And what are you telling the kids as they're running in?
I run up a ways into that hallway. And I'm yelling at them to come in and to get in their rooms.
Okay. So at this point, you know the shooter, you saw him shooting at the south end. And did you see him after that, after you ran to the door?
When I was at the door, I just saw him like getting near the cars that were parked there.
How far did you see him come up?
It was a little bit past the half mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, the cars were parked there, so I couldn't see after that.
Okay. But you did see him shooting towards the south end?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you're staying in that hallway and you're trying to get the kids into their rooms, okay, then what did you do?
I kept asking the operator, "Where are the cops? Where are the cops?" And I tell her, "There's kids running everywhere," because I looked down towards the east hallway and there was an area out there where the kids could play as well, and they were running into their classrooms.
Okay. And that call that you made to 911, have you reviewed that call? Okay. I think we played it for you. Have we? I can't remember. Okay. But you didn't make a 911 call to an operator.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
the state would tender state's exhibit number,
Okay.
state would admit state's exhibit number 9, which is the 911 call recording of Ms. Monique.
All right, submit,
State would ask to publish it to the jury.
please.
We're going to play that 911 call for you, Ms. Monique.
You already calling 911? Yes, there was something accident right there behind our school. Behind our school, they ran into the ditch. Well, how he did it, it was talking to the person. And they pick up your mom, I just, he might have tried to come over. Oh my God, they're running, I don't know why. Oh my God, it's all the time. I might be around to 715 Oak Creek Road. We don't have a one vehicle accident where you pick up truck across the ditch. I'm gonna call her and invite them out for their cover gun. Ma'am. Hello? Yes. Okay, ma'am, how many people are running? 3 people running. 3 people running? Hello, ma'am? Yes. Okay, ma'am, what's your name? Amy. Yes. Okay. Miss Amy, how many shots were fired? I'm sorry, several. Okay, ma'am, he's on campus. Oh my God. Okay, he's on how?
I have the words up.
Okay, can you remember what he said?
It's better if I do it. You just can't hear it.
Oh my God. I think he came on campus now. He came on campus now. Okay, now can you remember what he was wearing? I don't see him, I did not see him. Can you remember what he was wearing when you saw him enter the vehicle? No, all I saw was the truck. Oh my God. Ma'am, where was he running towards? You said he ran into the school?
Talking so bad. Yeah, she's very traumatized.
Okay, ma'am. Are you going to be away from the building already? Okay, now where are you going to get? Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, I do have units already coming up.
Oh, geez. All those calls coming in.
Okay, now can you talk? Units have already called you? Miss Amy, can you see him now? Okay, Miss Amy, you can't see him anymore? Oh my God. Okay, ma'am, he went inside the building? Okay, ma'am. Oh my God. You. Okay, ma'am, we do have the officers on scene, okay?
Yeah. I'm just now seeing your guys' comments.
Now, Ms. Monique, we see and hear you trying to relay information at the same time that you're trying to get the children into the classroom. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, after the 911 call ended, what did you do?
Ketamine's a hell of a drug, girlfriend. 10 out of 10 recommend it. Medically used, therapeutically. Not like in a club.
I had ran inside my room to go call the front office from my intercom. And then I was going to run back out to make sure everybody was safe. But something stopped me. And I looked at the door and I looked at the counter and I ran under the counter. When I went under the counter, that's when the call hung up.
Okay. Approximately how long were you in your classroom?
During the whole time, it was about 45 minutes.
And during that time, what were you thinking or what were you doing?
I thought it was a lot longer.
The shots wouldn't stop. They were just going round after round. A round would go off, and then there was total silence. And then another round, and total silence. And one of those times that it was silent, the AC kicked on, and I said, "Don't turn on, I'm not going to hear him when he comes this way." And you just hear more shots. They were like nonstop. And I thought, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I said, as I'm in under the counter, I think, I'm looking at the floor and I'm thinking, I'll tackle him from his ankles and knock him down with my shoulder. And then I said, get up on the counter. When he comes in, jump on his back, poke his eyes out, take the gun away from him.
So you were anticipating how you would confront the shooter if he came into the room.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, just one more question. How do you explain that feeling, just so we understand what that feeling is?
I don't think we'll ever understand it.
The feeling of that type of fear is something that only someone can understand who's been through a mass shooting. You won't understand if you haven't experienced it, and I don't wish it on anybody.
My experience was very
Is it an
minimal
ugly
compared
feeling?
to that.
It haunts me to this day.
Okay.
I was in Las Vegas during the UNLV shooting
Pass the witness.
at that location.
Please. Ms. Maria, my name is Nico. Have you ever testified before?
No, sir.
Okay. This is called cross-examination. I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to go as slow as you want, okay?
Thanks.
I'm not going to attack you. I'm not trying to hold you accountable. You did nothing wrong. I'm just going to ask you some questions on your observations. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. If you don't understand my question, ask me to repeat it and I will.
I love this
Okay.
guy.
I think you told the government that you had gone outside to meet a gentleman named Gabriel, correct?
Yes, sir.
Gabriel Gonzales?
Yes, sir.
And I understand what you're saying. I think we all do. You prop the rock there because teachers were not given kind of a key system, key fob system where you could just click in and out of a door, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to share a secret really quick to lighten the mood just a little bit, my high school did that. And that's how I was able to like skip school my senior year at like 1 p.m. every day.
And not every teacher had a key.
Correct.
And I'm going to talk to you about that. Yes, ma'am.
I will say correct because I don't know who had a key.
Fair enough. Because you'd only been there for how long?
A month.
A month. You didn't have a key.
I had a key.
You had a key. Okay. But it's still faster to use the rock.
Yes.
Okay, 'cause it's just really quick. Okay. And when you went out to see Mr. Gonzales to get the supplies, and then you went through the crash, and you saw that going on, and you came back inside to get your phone, correct?
Correct.
And then you go back outside, and then we hear you on 911 with the operator. I'm real curious before we get into those details. Did you realize, what did Mr. Gonzales do?
When I was waiting, of course, he wasn't there yet. Can I show you where I was at?
Yes, ma'am.
When I ran,
Please.
I was running to help him, so I ran to about right here. I came out of the sidewalk and I ran all the way to here.
So that's a good distance.
Yes, sir.
Because I've been to this location. So you came from the west, and for the record, I'm pointing you to the west door entrance and exit, right?
Correct.
And so you went from the X, you mind if I'm this close to you?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay. You went from here all the way down Geraldine to where the blacktop ends near Grove Street.
I ran on the outside of the campus, not the inside.
And what's
I ran
the
on the
difference?
sidewalk. There's a fence.
Correct. Okay. And so you came out here and you got to the blacktop here on Geraldine?
No, not to the black, I was about right.
Okay. And by that time, had Mr. Gonzales showed up by that time?
No, sir. I'm outside and I'm asking the teacher to call the front office. I'm in the hallway telling the kids to get inside. When I go into my classroom, that's when I see Mr. Gonzales drive off. So he came in through the U and he drove off.
And so at some point, Mr. Gonzales came in and you don't know what he saw or didn't see?
No,
You have no idea if the government spoke with him?
no, I do not.
Okay. Do you stay in contact with Mr. Gonzales today?
No, sir.
Okay. And practically, I mean, you put a rock at the door because you thought the door was locked.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you thought the door wasn't locked, you wouldn't have to put a rock at the door.
Correct.
So you get back inside and we can hear you, and I'm very sorry you went through that. I think we all are. That sounds very traumatic. But we hear you on 911, and you're giving a description of what you're perceiving from that door.
Mhm.
And so just, may I push, Judge?
Yes.
And so that west side door, and we'll probably see a picture of it. There's not a big window here.
No.
It's a door. I don't know which door you came in, and it has a window strip. Correct?
Mhm.
So your view is limited to that window strip, correct?
Correct.
So you can see in front of you fairly decent, but you definitely can't see to either side without opening the door to check.
Correct.
Caught
Is it an
myself.
outward swinging door or an inward swinging door?
I have
Outward.
to
So
go.
if I was coming, if I'm outside the building, I would pull
Right.
to open it.
Right.
So is it fair to say that your view from that door was limited?
It was limited, which is when the shooter jumped the fence, I could see this way. When I had ran to her and the operator said, "What is he wearing?" I ran back and I'm seeing him, and from where he's getting to the vehicles, that's when I'm going like this in the window because I can't see him anymore.
Yes, ma'am. Judge, just for procedural purposes, would you prefer me to ask before I approach every time? Because I might have to come back and forth.
No, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to make sure it's clear, because I don't know if it's been explained yet. So when you say he jumped the fence, so the crash is here at Geraldine and Grove, correct?
Correct.
And that's kind of a culvert, and there's a railing here, and he went over the railing into the culvert, right?
He went through the railing, like crashed into the railing.
And I don't want to make you stand up again, but is the fence you're talking about here?
No, the fence is right here.
What fence did he jump?
He jumped this fence.
Okay, is that the perimeter for the school?
Yes.
Okay, so he jumps this fence. Now, by this time, you're already back to the door,
Yes.
and you're on 911 by this time.
Yes, sir.
And then he's walking. I think you testified previously that he was running, but
No,
he was walking, right? Have you seen the video from the funeral?
No,
You have not seen that? Okay. What have you reviewed in preparation for your trial today?
I'm sorry. I have seen the video like on the news where they show some of the
Yes, ma'am.
funeral. Yes.
And that's something we're going to talk to a lot of people about, because the news has shown a lot of these things.
Right.
And so I'm going to ask respectfully, if we have to take some time, distinguish what you saw at the time versus what you saw later on the news. Okay. Thank you. And so you have seen the funeral view.
Yes,
Because there's some videos from here.
yes.
And so he's walking, but at one point you described him as running. And that's not, it's okay, it's normal to do that, but you described him as running at one point.
I don't think I did, but
In a grand jury testimony? Maybe, okay, well, regardless, he's coming to the school. You testified that you perceived, because you're looking through the door, you perceived that he was shooting towards the south side of the building.
Mhm.
Would you also agree that from where the door is, the perception is everything to the left of this door is the south side is towards the south side of the building? Is that a fair
Correct,
statement? So if he was shooting out these windows, that could be perceived by you, understandably, through that little window of him shooting towards, because it is towards the south side of the building, but hitting these windows. Is that a fair statement? Anything to this side of you is the south side of the building, right? Towards the south side.
Mhm.
Because this is the south entrance?
right, correct,
This is considered the east entrance?
Correct.
There's no north entrance, but this is the north side of the building?
Correct.
Of the school? And this is actually the front of the school?
Correct.
Okay. So this is considered the west side of the school.
Mhm.
And so anything to this side of this entrance appears like the south side.
Right.
Because it is actually, right?
Right.
It's towards the south side.
Mhm.
And you didn't know at the time, but you knew he was shooting, and later you found out that he was shooting out these windows.
when he was here, walking here, he was already shooting to the south direction.
Right, to the south direction. You just couldn't tell what part of it.
Right.
Okay, so he was shooting in this direction.
Correct.
Okay. And we'll ask somebody else about shell casings if there's any evidence of that, okay? And so when he did that, you're in here, and have you seen the video from inside the school?
Yes.
Okay, and we're gonna go slow on that one, okay? And so while you're on the phone, you are yelling down for everyone to get in their classrooms. Yes?
Yes.
And is there a system to warn other teachers of incidents like bailouts on the phone? Is it like a texting system?
They have a Raptor system, the school district does.
Raptor. And was that, but you were notified of you knew about the Raptor system, right? I
knew about it, but I wasn't on it.
Fair enough. But the purpose of the system is for teachers to text each other incidents.
I don't know if they text each other.
I'm gonna object, that's speculation. She's already said she didn't have it on her phone, she never got it, so at this point, any testimony about speculation on her part.
Well, just she answered the question, that's fine. Just.
Okay, proceed.
But you know that things like a bailout could be communicated between teachers.
I'm gonna object as to bail out. I mean, he's gotta lay the predicate that she even knows what a bailout is.
I was about to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna overrule the objection. Ma'am, these questions, if you know the answer, you can answer them. If you don't, just tell it. Okay, proceed.
And if you don't understand any of my questions, you say, Nico, I don't understand your question, and you know I'll ask you again, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and don't answer a question that you don't know.
Okay.
There's a rule of evidence that you have to have personal knowledge. I'm gonna do my best not to ask you a question you don't have personal knowledge of, but you can check my homework and tell me if I'm wrong, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so do you know what a bailout is?
I do.
Okay, will you please describe to the jury what a bailout is?
It is when a vehicle is being chased by a police officer, police vehicles.
Yeah, I like
And
this attorney.
The people being chased get out of their vehicle and run out.
That is correct. And that school had dealt with a lot of bailouts.
Objection calls for speculation.
Judge, if she knows.
If you know, ma'am, only if you know.
I don't know, not
Okay.
not that school.
Okay, but you'd only been there a month.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But what you do know about that school is that school did not have a full-time officer assigned to it.
They did not.
And that's not your decision, that's more of a school district decision, right?
Correct.
Do you know if anybody had complained about that school not having a specific full-time officer or officers?
I do not know.
Did you have occasion, or did you know if any of the teachers down the hall heard you when you were screaming at them to get in the classrooms?
I know I saw one teacher standing in the hallway when I was screaming for them to get in their rooms.
Do you know if the individual classrooms have the ability to be locked and secured from any type of intruder?
I do not know.
How long have you worked in the school academia?
25 years.
Is it fair to say that most schools have locks from the inside to stop someone from entering?
I'm gonna object as to speculation as to most schools.
Judge, I'll clean it
Can you
up.
rephrase it?
Have all the schools that you've worked at over the 25 years have locks to be able to lock from the inside?
I do not know.
most of the schools you've worked at?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
You can say no.
I do not know.
You don't know. Fair enough. I want to ask you about the specific doors at this school, Robb Elementary. Are you aware that there was issues with teachers locking doors?
I do not know.
Are you aware that there were issues of doors not being able to lock in the first place, even if someone wanted to lock them?
I was not aware.
But it was your impression, and you fully believe that that west side door was locked.
Yes, sir.
Did you later come to find out that that door was not locked?
I didn't find out until about a year after.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I said later. So later on, and let me just be very clear. That's not your fault. You didn't unlock that door, okay? So I'm not saying that or suggesting that in the slightest, but later on you found out that that door had not been locked. Correct?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Later on, you found out that that west side door was not locked. You were treating it like it was locked, but it was not locked.
Correct.
And that was not your fault.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Pass the witness.
No more questions. Judge, you may this witness be excused.
Subject to recall.
No, Judge.
Okay, ma'am, you are released from the subpoena. You're not subject to recall. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Mr. Hill?
I think we're all really done. Poor lady. Oh yeah, this is in my opinion, not it.
For you and speak up so everybody can hear you.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you.
Just for reference, that was a FBI special agent who was tasked with photographing where the bullet casings ended up. And it was, once again, just a whole bunch of pew pew talk. I can't say that word because YouTube doesn't like it.
Good afternoon, Ms. Deming. I said your name, but please state your full name for the record.
Lynn Deming,
And Ms. Deming, where are you currently employed?
Flores Legacy Elementary.
Okay, and what is your job position?
I'm a STEM teacher, 3 through 5th grade.
And what is Legacy?
It's the new campus, formerly Robb, so it's the new campus.
For which school district?
Uvalde, CISD.
Okay. In May of 2022, where were you employed?
Robb Elementary as a 4th grade teacher.
Okay. And what camp? You said Robb Elementary. Okay. And how long had you been working at Robb Elementary?
At that time, I think 6 years.
Okay. And what grades were you teaching?
4th grade.
And how long had you been an employee of the Uvalde Independent School District?
6 years.
Okay. What was your room number at the time of May of 2022?
104.
Okay. And I'm going to, Judge, may the witness get up and approach the board?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to show the jury on this board. This is a map of Robb Elementary. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you show the jury where on this map is the 4th grade building?
This building here.
Okay. And where on this building on this map was your classroom?
Somewhere in this area.
Okay. Sounds good. You can have a seat. And again, what was that classroom number?
104.
104. Now, have you received training as to lockdown procedures?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you explain to the jury and for the record what those procedures were in May of 2022 for the Uvalde Independent School District?
Lights lock out of sight. So you lock lights out of sight. Sorry. So you lock your door. Be sure your door's locked. You turn your lights off and cover your windows, and you hide.
Okay. And who provided that training to you?
I don't. admin, I'm sure. I don't necessarily remember exactly.
And was that the same training that was provided to the students?
Yes.
Okay. And how often did you receive that training? Was it once a year, twice a year?
We had to do lockdown drills. I don't know how many times that's required.
Okay. So with regard to those lockdown trainings, you said lights out, lockdown, and what are the kids specifically trained to do?
Hide and get quiet. So depending on where your room was, depending on where you wanted your kids to hide and just get quiet.
Okay. Now you told us where your room was. Can you explain to the jury, when you walked into your classroom, what do we see? Where was your desk? Where were the windows? Things like that.
Directly walking into my classroom to the right, there was a long desk that was connected to the wall. And then my desk was at the corner, sort of in front of that, but it was long. Across, directly when you walked in, was a wall of two windows, basically, and I had bookshelves there. And then my students sat pretty much in dead center of the classroom.
Okay. Did you have covers on the windows?
There were blinds on the window. I usually kept them open just to get sunlight.
Okay. I'm going to take you back now to May 24th of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
What were your normal work hours on that day?
Just a regular school day, so 7:30 to 4.
Okay. And on that day, was there something specific going on, something special going on for the day?
The award ceremony was that day.
Okay. And what time was your award ceremony?
I don't remember specifically. It was before lunch.
Okay. And after the award ceremony, what did y'all do?
We went back to the classroom. It was sort of, a lot of students leave during award ceremony, after award ceremony. So you kind of just have sort of a fun day. I had set up stations for my students. So some of them were playing Legos. There were board games. We used Minecraft to do math things. So I had some students playing Minecraft. And then I had like an art station where they could paint or draw.
Okay. Did y'all have plans to go outside?
We were going to go to recess about 10 minutes early. I had a student that left half a day. He only stayed at school half a day. So we were going to wait until he went and then go to recess about 10 minutes early.
Okay. And about approximately what time did you get your kids ready to go outside?
Probably around 11:20, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't know exactly.
And what were your instructions to your students regarding going outside?
They were going to line up and we were going to walk, just out to the playground where we normally went.
Okay. And you were taking all the students at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, once you get them ready to go outside and they're starting to go outside, what happened?
We were walking out of the building and one of my students said she left her water bottle in the classroom. So I just sort of opened the door and put my foot in front of the door and I said, just run in and get your water bottle. It's okay. And I told the students just to keep walking out the door.
Okay. And what direction were your kids walking?
The door closest to me. So I'm sorry, I'm not very good directionally.
Is it
directionally?
the door at the bottom, the
Yes.
south end?
Yes, closest, like if we were going to the pavilion.
Okay. And again, we're looking at the board. The pavilion is on the south end. So
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
saying that
We went out the south door. Yes.
south door. Your kids would have come out the south door and gone to that area. Okay. So what happened after you're holding the door open for the one student who forgot a water bottle?
One of my students opened the door to go out the south side and they said that the coach is yelling. And I said, why? And they said, I don't know. And then, I'm sorry, I heard what sounded like fireworks. And I told the kids, come back inside. My foot was still on the door. And I said, get in the classroom and hide.
So what's going through your mind right now? You've heard that the kids have said the coach told them to get back in. You hear firecrackers. What's going through your mind?
I honestly wasn't sure, but I just thought it was something bad.
Okay. And because it's something bad, what do you go to?
Lockdown.
You immediately go to lockdown and that's your training.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So explain to the jury what, if you go to lockdown, you tell your kids to get in, tell us what you did next.
I was going to close my blinds. My lights were already off because we were going to recess. And I heard the classroom next door was kind of loud. They didn't know anything. And so I opened the adjoining doors between me and the classroom next door. And I said, be quiet and get down. And I closed the door and then went to the blind to close the blinds.
When you went to the blinds to close the blinds, did you look outside that window?
No, I did not.
Okay. So did you get the blinds closed?
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I went, I turned around to get with the kids basically. And shots went through the window. and a piece of shrapnel or debris or something hit me, and I fell or jumped. I don't know what I did. I lost my glasses, and then I was worried. I'm sorry. I thought I put the kids in the worst place.
Explain to the
Just so you guys know, I feel like it's important to mention I don't condone everyday wear of blue eyeshadow. But you know, when you're wearing the outfit for the blue eyeshadow, I'll allow it.
Jerry, what you mean by that?
Because he was shooting through the window and the kids were directly across. And I thought I made the worst mistake I had ever made.
Okay. So what did you do then?
I crawled over to the kids and I just started asking them, are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? My ears were kind of ringing because the shots that went through the window. And one of my students said, "Hey, Mom, you were shot." And I said, "No, I'm fine. Are y'all okay?" And then I just kind of crawled in between the kids, and then I thought I needed to block them from the window, so I, as quiet as I could, turned a desk to kind of block them, which is sort of stupid because what's that going to do?
Well, let's go back to them telling you were shot. Did you know you were shot?
I'm not. I think I was sort of in shock, so not necessarily. I knew I wasn't shot. It was like debris or something.
Like shrapnel?
Yeah.
How did they know you were shot?
My shirt had a hole and I had blood on me.
So your students see you with a hole in your shirt and with blood on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now they're under the counter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're positioning yourself between them. And what's the reason for that?
I wanted to block them.
Okay. And what were your students doing now?
They were just being scared, obviously, but just so quiet.
Did you at any point see the shooter walking outside the building?
No, I did not.
Okay. And did you see shots coming through the windows? Where were those shots going to?
I couldn't tell. Once he shot in the window was completely like blown, like just shattered, right? And it was like, I thought at the time it was smoke, but it was like very hazy in the classroom. And I didn't have my glasses, so because I had lost them, so which doesn't help.
Did you feel like the shots were coming from the ceiling or coming from up top?
Not at that point, no.
Okay. Did you at some point later think that?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you think that?
Because you could see ceiling tile like on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, you're in the room. You're trying to position yourself between the windows and your students. And what do you hear during this time?
I heard a couple shots on the outside of the building. It sounded like hammering on the building, and then I heard shooting in the hallway.
Okay. And were you trying to think of a possible escape or something that you could do?
At some point I looked at the window because it was just shattered and I thought we could get out, but somebody shot when we were walking out of the building. Then somebody shot through the window, and then I heard shooting in the hallway. So I thought it was more than one person. And I thought our only sort of savior was that he shot through the window when my kids were so quiet, they wouldn't know we were in there. So I thought if we just stayed quiet, they would think we weren't in there.
So as you were shot and you had shrapnel, you're trying to think of a plan and you're thinking of possible scenarios. Shooting here, shooting there, shooting there. What's my best plan? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And while you're thinking all this is going through your mind, what are you telling your students?
I was just telling them to pray. I told them I loved them. And I just kept saying, like babies, I love you. Just pray, I love you.
Okay.
I wanted to tell them it would be okay, but I wasn't sure. And I just wanted the last thing they heard was that somebody loved them. So I think I said it a million times. I just kept saying, I love you.
Okay. At some point, did you think about your own children?
Yes. I messaged my husband and I said, somebody's shooting outside the window. I love you. I'm sorry. Tell the kids I'm sorry.
Explain to the jury why you felt that you had to say you were sorry to your own children.
I thought if I didn't make it, that my kids would just always think I chose my job over them.
Your job being what?
Teaching.
And protecting those students that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you eventually get out of your room?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who got you out? Do you remember?
I don't necessarily remember. They looked through the window because it was, like shot out. And they had, I think just a short sleeve shirt and like a vest,
Okay.
And they asked, is anybody in here? And one of my students said something, and I was scared because I didn't know if it was who it was. And I said, shh. And then they kind of peeked around and said, is anybody in here? And I said, yes. And so I just started lifting kids out of the window, and the people on the other side, I don't know if it was officers or border patrol or who, but would help me pull the kids through the window.
Okay. Now, Ms. Deming, you said you're still teaching.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
grade? You said for the 2021, 2022, you taught fourth grade.
Yes, ma'am.
For the 2022, 2023 school year, what grade did you teach?
I moved campuses. I wanted to stay with the students. I wanted to move directly to fifth grade, but they didn't have a position. So I moved to sixth grade, but I got to be on the campus with my students.
And that was intentional?
Yes, ma'am.
And for the 2023, 2024 school year, what grade did you teach?
I taught fifth grade.
And again, that was?
I got to be with the students. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Going back to your students in that classroom on May 24th of 2022, what is your opinion of those students that were there with you?
They are the strongest, bravest people on this earth, on this whole earth.
And why is that?
They were just so brave. They did everything perfect that day. And I just am so thankful I got to be a tiny part of their life.
Pass the witness.
Can I come? Please. Ms. Deming, is pronounced Deming?
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you please spell it?
DEMING.
Thank you. The only reason I ask you that is because, that as you probably know, there's been a lot of reports generated and written about this. And they kind of consistently spelled your name as Daring in the
Yes.
reports. Is that common, or is that a maiden name? Or?
I am that or Deming with 2 M's, so it's pretty common.
Sure, because I guess one M may look like 2 R's.
Yeah.
Well, my name's Jason Goss, and I represent Adrian. And have you ever testified before?
Not like this, no, sir.
Sure. And, a lot of people may expect that when it comes over here that we're going to be mean to you or disrespectful. And I just want you to know we're not. Honestly, what you did with those kids, I admire it. And you said you were lucky to be a part of their lives. I think that they were lucky to have you, right? Yeah. Because, and I want to start with that training. The training that you're talking about, that's a training that's given to teachers and given to students to say, look, if something like this ever happens, you get in a room, you turn off all the lights, you be quiet, try to block the door like you were, as best that you could. And really try to make it seem like nobody's in the room, right?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, that's kind of what you were saying too. You're like, at the time that you think multiple people are coming in, you're saying, please, just hopefully they think nobody's here, right?
Yes, sir.
And those trainings, and it's important. I think the reason that they have that is because it's been shown that it can save lives. Because people, potential shooters or people wishing to do you and the children harm will pass you up, right? And so, one of the things you said, because you can't even imagine how hard it would have been for your kids to stay that quiet for that long with that going on, right? But
yes,
they
sir.
did.
Yes, sir.
So, as far as that training though, I think the prosecutor asked you who gave the training, and you said you thought it was like administration or the school. Were these civilians or were these people in like police officers? Who gave the training?
I honestly, I don't remember specifically.
Okay. Do you ever remember, because I'm sure you've had a few of them, do you ever remember just in any of these kind of trainings, police officers being present at the trainings, or is it typically like school administrators or principals or vice principals or other people who come in as, I guess? Sometimes
Campus police might be there, but I want to say normally it's just our administration.
Sure. And and at Robb Elementary at the time that you were working there, you were aware, and we've heard it from others, but you were aware that there was not a police officer actually assigned to that campus.
Yes, sir.
And so I guess the way that they handled Robb, as far as the school district did, is that there would be police officers assigned to the high school, and then they would come, I guess, periodically at some times to check up on the elementary school. Is that how you understood it?
I only remember one officer ever coming to our campus.
Okay,
Not necessarily one time, but I only
Sure.
remember one ever coming, you know, sporadically.
sure. And, and for whatever funding or whatever else, it's, we don't necessarily know why, but the part of, because you were there for a few years, 6 years.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, sure, 5 or 6. Was ever part of it when the officer would come? Was there ever any situation as a teacher where other teachers would get, not in trouble necessarily, but reprimanded for not having their doors locked? Do you remember any kind of time that that had occurred?
I never did. If another teacher did, I wouldn't know.
Right. Yeah, and I wasn't suggesting that you had been, but I guess the idea would be that, you know, maybe was there ever a situation where teachers would text each other saying, hey, the police officer's going to come, make sure everybody's door's locked or anything like that? Did you ever get any communication?
No, sir.
Okay. Were you ever aware of the school issuing magnets that teachers would put on the door that would defeat the, like basically so the door wouldn't lock? It's like a magnet that'll go over the metal part of the plate, and then the door wouldn't be able to be locked.
I don't remember the school issuing magnets. I know some teachers had magnets, but I don't necessarily remember the school giving us magnets.
Right. Okay. And you yourself were never handed like a magnet?
No, sir.
So Ms. Deming, go, you know, use this when you don't want to lock the door.
No, sir.
What about when you had substitutes or something? Was that when magnets were commonly used because they didn't have keys?
I didn't really have subs. I was one of those teachers.
Right.
So I.
Hey guys, this is a really good time to remind you and politely ask that you please hit the like button and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. I do this every day, Tuesday through Friday, that is, starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'd love to have you as part of my chat. Thank you.
I'm honestly not sure.
Okay. No, that's fair. I appreciate you answering. The coach, I guess you said that as you were taking your kids out to recess, that the coach would, one of your students informed you that a coach was yelling.
Yes, sir.
Do you know which coach that was yelling?
At the time, they just said coach, so I thought Coach Gonzales, but I do not know which coach was yelling.
And I guess, did you ever, because this I pictured, Your Honor, can I get the well for a second?
Yes.
Thank you. I pictured it kind of like you're going out, you guys are going out, you're trying to lead your class out of that door there.
Yes, sir.
All right. And I picture it like you're going to lead them out. One kid leaves a water bottle. And so now you're going, okay, you go
Yes.
here and you go here.
Yes, sir.
And you're kind of in the hallway. One comes back in and says, hey, coach is yelling. Did you ever make it out to see like what was happening? So
No,
you kind of stayed in that middle ground right
Yes,
there
sir.
between the student going back and the students going out.
Thank
Yes, sir.
God.
And then told them all, get back in here. Okay. When you heard what you thought sounded like fireworks.
Yes, sir.
I guess one of the things that you said was, that I guess y'all were planning on doing recess a little early.
Yes, sir.
Was there any reason for that?
It was just fun.
Yeah. A cool teacher
It was
brings
just,
kids out to recess early, but like I know we've heard other testimony, and you said yourself it was a special day. And did any of your kids go home after the ceremony, or did they all stay with you?
I had about 4 students that went home after the ceremony.
And was that been a typical and common thing?
No, most of my kids wanted to stay with me. A lot of classes had way less students.
After listening to your testimony, I can understand why. But I guess the idea is, did you know that it was common maybe for, I guess in your school at the time, was it just generally known that, hey, after awards, your parents want to take you to go eat pizza and go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, that you can do that. And, we're not counting you absent and we're not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so in these kind of special end of the year days like that, there may have been less kids at the school, thankfully, for that
Yes, sir.
reason.
Yes, sir.
But that wouldn't have been an everyday thing. Parents
No.
can pick them up half day.
No, sir.
Right. Okay. So would you agree? So I don't know. You were obviously going through, one of the most traumatic things anybody can go through, right, at the time. So I don't know if you know what this looked like, but when you had the lights out and when you had your students down and when they were all being very quiet and very brave, would you agree that it would appear as if your classroom was empty?
I thought, yes, sir.
Right, because that was the purpose, is to make it look like nobody's in there. You said when they finally got you out, they get you out through the windows in the back,
Yes, sir.
and you and the students, and you're helping bring down the students. And those were officers that were helping you guys get out, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you know at the time that the monster who had hurt the kids in 111 and 112 was dead?
No, I did not.
Did you know if he was alive?
No.
Okay, so
Did the officers who were getting you out have a sense of urgency about getting you to safety and the children?
They pulled us through the window and said, run.
Right. Suggesting that the threat is not over.
Exactly.
And so even though you may not know for sure, all the clues around it told you that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so you, I'm sure, and felt that you and the children were still in danger, and everybody around you were still in potential danger from whatever was going on.
Yes, sir.
Right. Did you know that one of those officers pulling the kids out of the windows over there was Adrian?
I didn't remember anybody. I mean, I knew people were pulling us out. I did not know who it was.
Right. And so you would agree that those officers that were doing that in your room and the rooms next to it, because the other rooms were getting pulled out too, right? Like down that row, they were pulling the kids out and the teachers who were in those rooms.
Yes, sir.
And you'd agree that those officers were doing a good thing.
I was thankful.
Right. And Adrian, as part of those officers, would have been doing a good thing trying to evacuate the kids and the teachers out from further danger.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass it.
No other questions, Your Honor?
Recall?
No recall from the state.
Oh, Judge, no, we don't need her subject to recall.
You're excused. Thank you very much. Not subject to recall. Okay. Next one.
The state calls Nicole Ogburn.
I'm about to create a new poll.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Would you come on up to the bench, please? Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony given in the cause will be the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right. There's our witness stand over here. Make yourself comfortable and adjust the microphone if you need to.
Okay.
You may proceed when you're ready.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name for the record.
Nicole Ogburn.
And Ms. Ogburn, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with Uvalde CISD.
And what is your current job position?
Right now, I am a resource teacher.
In May of 2022, where were you employed?
I was employed with Uvalde CISD.
And what was your job position in May of 2022?
I was a co-teacher.
And what does that mean, a co-teacher?
You have a general education teacher and a special education teacher in a classroom. So I was the SPED teacher that was in the classroom in 102.
And who did you co-teach with?
Mrs. Alvarado.
Okay. And what campus did you work at?
Robb Elementary.
And how long had you been working at Robb Elementary as of May of 2022?
About 8 years.
And what grade were you teaching at the time?
4th grade.
Now, what room number was your room?
It was room 102.
Okay. I'm going to hand you a pointer, and if you would come. May the witness get up, Judge?
Please.
Ms. Ogburn, I'm going to give you this pointer. I'm going to ask you, here we have a board that's going to introduce into evidence as an aerial view of Robb Elementary. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and here we have the campus right here.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you this pointer, and if you would show the jury where your classroom was, 102.
102 is right here in this corner.
All
That
right.
corner, the south end.
Vote in the polls, guys.
Okay, thank you. Now, did you begin the year at Robb in the 2021-2022 school year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And for the jury and for the record, the record from the court, can you explain to the jury what is a lockdown procedure?
Lockdown procedure was lights out, windows covered, and you hide in a corner that you can't be seen from the window that's at the door.
Okay. And you had received this training as a teacher for the Uvalde Independent School District?
It was spoken to us about, like, every year they kind of briefly go over what the procedures were, but it had always been shut your window, turn your lights off, make sure your door's locked, and hide in a corner that is not visible to the windows.
And is that the same training that the students receive?
Yes.
Okay. And how often were you trained on this? You said they mentioned it, or
Well, we did a training for teachers. Usually they would mention it during our PD days before school started. And then throughout the year, we'd have lockdown drills and fire drills and all, practice all the drills that we had.
and who would provide the training to the students?
Usually it was just our staff at Rob that would go back over it, or actually us that would train. I'm sorry, didn't realize you said students, but usually us. So we would, before a lockdown practice drill, we would tell them, okay, we're going to have a lockdown practice drill. This is what we're going to do. Myself and Miss Alvarado, I remember talking to him about it, and we were like, we were just going to shut the window, the shade on the window that we had. We are going to turn off lights, and y'all are to file over here into the corner by Miss Alvarado's desk.
Okay, now you said in the corner. Let's go back a little bit. Can you explain to the jury, when you walk into your classroom, what was the layout? What would you see?
So when you walked in our door, you walked in on the left side. We had a cubby kind of blocking, so you couldn't see. There was not a line of sight to that area over there. And then you walk and you turn to the left of that bookcase or cubbies, and there was a built-in cabinets on top and like a built-in desk all the way across. And Miss Alvarado's desk was in the opposite corner of where the entrance was to the door.
Okay, and your desk?
My desk was right in front of the door, but in the opposite corner.
Okay. And going back to the lockdown procedure, you said you would tell the kids, this is what we're going to do, and how you would be in the lockdown, and what would you be doing? What would you be waiting for?
We'd wait in the corner. The kids would get quiet, stay quiet. And during a drill, it was just wait for somebody to come back on the intercom and say, all clear, all clear.
Okay. And in the event that it wasn't.
Have you guys liked the stream yet? If you could just hit that thumbs up for me really quick, that would help me tremendously with my algorithm. Thanks, guys.
The drill, what would you wait for?
They told us to wait until law enforcement comes and announces themselves before you leave your room.
Okay. Now I'm going to take you back to May 24th of 2022. What were your hours that day?
We worked from 7:30 to 3:30, usually or 4. And then that day was kind of an off day because we had, award ceremonies and things. So we didn't have like a schedule of classes that day. It was just do your award ceremony, and the kids, we kind of had a very relaxing day that was going to happen.
Okay. And what time was your award ceremony?
I don't recall exact time, but it was close. We got back to the room closer to like 11, a little bit after 11.
Okay. And what were y'all going to do once you got back to the classroom from the award ceremony? What was the plan?
For us, it was the kids were going to relax. We were going to put a movie on. We were allowing them to go in and out to go to the bathroom because we had been in the wards and they were all excited. And so we told them, if we need a bathroom, ask us and just go ahead and go, and we'll start the movie in a few minutes. So that's kind of what was going on at that time, was the kids were going back and forth to the bathroom and then coming back to the classroom.
Okay. So did y'all have plans to go outside or just watch the movie?
We were going to watch the movie, and we had told the kids that we would go outside a little bit earlier than we normally did. We usually went outside about 12:15 for recess, and then we went to lunch at 12:30. So we kind of were like, we'll go out a little early, but we're going to wait a little bit because it's real hot outside. And so we were like, we'll just put this movie on and y'all can watch the movie until we go outside. Okay.
And while you're watching the movie and waiting to go outside, what did you hear?
Well, one thing I do recall is some of the girls that are in our classroom had to come up and asked. And I distinctly remember looking at my watch and saying, it's only 11:21, girls. We're not going to go out yet. We're going to wait because it's really hot out there. And they were like, okay. I said, just go sit and watch the movie and relax for a little bit. And myself and Miss Alvarado were doing paperwork to we have to do end of the year things to wrap up the year. So we were doing some of our paperwork while the kids were watching movies.
Okay. Then what happened?
I don't know. It was like 8 minutes later. I'm not really sure. I heard, it sounded like metal hitting the brick. And so we assumed, myself and Miss Alvarado assumed it was some of our custodians out there working, because it wasn't uncommon for us to hear noises and them outside working on something. And so I thought it was like maybe a shovel or something hitting the bricks as they were digging up something. I didn't know. So I stood up and looked out. I had a window right behind me, but I couldn't see anything out of it anyway. So I stepped over to the other window on the opposite side from my desk and looked out the window. And
what did you see when you looked out the window?
I saw a guy dressed in black. He kind of had mid-length hair, and I saw a backpack and a gun pointed towards the playground and pavilion area.
Now, I'm going to give you this pointer again. I want you to show the jury where you saw him when you looked out the window.
Okay.
May the witness be down, Judge?
Yes, please.
Judge always says yes.
So there was a tree right outside this window right here. My desk was over here somewhere, and there was another window. So I was looking out this window closest to the corner of the room, and there's a tree here, and he was standing by that tree.
Okay.
On the sidewalk.
And where you're pointing to for the record is the southwest corner of that fourth grade building. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we see a sidewalk that's kind of in an elbow shape, right?
Yes, that.
Okay.
Right there, and that leads up to the south door.
Okay. And he was on that corner.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sit down.
I like this gloss.
Once you saw the shooter on that corner, and what did you think?
I was like, we've got to get down and go ahead and hide, go into like there hadn't been a lockdown called yet. And I was just like, we got to get down. So I went, oh my God, there's a gun. And the kids kind of started panicking. And I just told them, get to the corner, hide under there. And we had a black curtain that actually went all the way down that built-in desk that we stored stuff in because we didn't have a lot of storage. So we had put stuff under there and hid it with a black curtain. So usually our kids, when we were doing practice drills, they would get behind the black curtain. Not all classrooms had that, but ours did. And so they would get behind that curtain and hide. And that's what they did.
Okay. And what did you do once you said that he has a gun and you told him to get down? What did you do?
Miss Alvarado had left her keys on the desk, and we had not locked the door that day because we were like, it was very relaxed. We were waiting for all the kids to finish going to the bathroom. And I went to try to throw my keys at her, and both of us were like, no, he's coming in that south door is what we thought he was doing. Because the way he was walking and pointing his gun looked like he was going to come in through that door. And so I was like, we have no time, just hide. So all the kids hid. And I remember coming around all the desk, and I had two little boys that were actually sitting by the door. And I said, no, get over here. So I had them go around the cubbies and get behind the cubbies and underneath. And right about that time, I heard gunshots, and I felt stuff falling on me. So I literally went onto the ground on my belly and started just crawling on my belly to get underneath the curtain with the kids.
Okay. And the kids were already underneath that table?
Yes, they were already there.
Okay. Did you move any furniture? Did you shake things? Okay.
Not at that time, no.
Okay. So what did you do? You crawled to where the kids are?
And I laid underneath. I was kind of closer to Mrs. Alvarado's desk. I crawled over there and got under there, and there were kids all around me, in front of me, behind me. I kind of felt like my body was kind of sticking out of the curtain, but I was trying to cover myself with that curtain too at the same time.
And is that part of your lockdown procedure?
Yes. I mean, for our classroom, it was, because then they were completely out of sight.
Okay. And the kids need this?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have one student that was trying to protect you?
Yes. I had one of my students, after I got under the curtain, I was laying on my stomach, and he crawled onto my back and laid across me and rubbed my arm and telling me, Ms. Ogburn, it's going to be okay.
Okay. So what did you do after you crawled underneath the table and with the kids?
At that point, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I was the first person to see this guy? I've got to notify somebody. I didn't know who had seen him or not. So I had my Apple Watch on, and I dialed 911 from it. And I did that twice, and my calls were dropped. And I think it was on my third try that it finally went through. And 911 operator was asking me where I was and who. I don't even recall telling her my name. I just said, I'm a teacher at Robb Elementary. There's an active shooter in our building. I'm in room 102, the new building at Robb. And she said, stay on the line with me. And I told her I couldn't, because if he heard me, he was going to come in our room and shoot us. And I just hung up the phone. I didn't wait for her to say anything else.
Okay. Do you remember if you told her that somebody had been shot, or did you get?
Oh, yes, I did. I remember. I had also told her that Miss Avila, I didn't mention her name, but I said another teacher across the hall from me, because I couldn't remember her room number, had been shot and had sent a message in one of our group chats from several years back. We had a math Google chat, and I guess that was the first one she opened, and she sent a thing saying she had been shot.
Now, where is Miss Avila's room in relation to your room?
Her room was just like diagonal from my room. There was one room across from me, and then hers was the next one over across the hall.
Okay. Now, you said you call 911.
Yes.
Okay. And you would recognize your voice on that tape, right?
Yes, I would.
The state offers exhibit number 10 into evidence, which is the 911 recording of Ms. Ogburn. The state would ask to publish that 911 recording to the jury.
Please.
It's all muffled.
Somebody shot over the classroom. Somebody shot the classroom. Okay, can you tell me the kid is on another way? I don't know. I don't know. Can you tell me? What room number? Can you tell me? I know he's a video. I don't know what that was. I can't hear me. Okay, it's okay. I understand.
I want to be real specific about why you hung up and why you told her, I can't let him hear me. What was your thoughts about that?
Because I really thought he was still in the hallway. I had heard a door kind of shut, and I thought it was him coming in that south door, so I was scared he was right outside. And he was going to come into our room, and I didn't want him to hear me.
Okay. And that's part of your training?
Yes.
Were you eventually evacuated, Ms.
Yes. Eventually, I don't know what law enforcement agency they were with, but what seemed like an hour went by was not. But a law enforcement officer happened to come in, and he was like, "Is there anybody in here?" And the kids, and he announced himself, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something to do with law enforcement. And they said, "Yes, we're here, we're here." And then he said, "Are your teachers here? Is everybody okay?" And myself and Miss Alvarado were like, "Yes, we're here, we're here." He asked me and Miss Alvarado, go out the window, move the bookcase and go out the window. The bookcase was located underneath the window I had previously looked out at and seen the shooter. And it was also the window that he shot into.
Sounds good.
When I dove to the ground. And so myself, and this bookshelf was our library. So myself and Miss Alvarado pushed it to the side and opened it with glass just falling everywhere around us. And then we put a chair up because it was a little high up for the kids to get out the window, and we started filing kids out the window.
Who was the last person to leave your classroom?
Myself.
Why is that?
There was a few kids that went before Miss Alvarado. Miss Alvarado went, and then I let the rest of the kids go, and then I went just to make sure that all of us had gotten out.
So you went to make sure the kids were safe?
Yes.
Miss Ogburn, are you still teaching today?
Yes, I am.
Pass the witness.
I'm going to put on my heating pad.
Ms. Demi?
Miss Ogburn.
I'm sorry, I'm looking wrong. Please forgive me, Ms. Ogburn. My name is Nico LaHood. I'm one of the lawyers that represents Adrian. I want to start. I'm sorry, I apologize. You said something at the beginning of your testimony that you're a SPED teacher.
Yes.
And that means special ed.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a special ed needs son, so that's why I know that. So I appreciate what you do very much.
Yes, thank you.
And so you kind of do you do the ARD meetings as well? Or
Yes, I do.
Okay. And that's an extra duty you do in relation to your special eds teaching?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was room 102 a special eds room, or was it just?
A co-teach classroom does have special ed children in it. The majority of them are general ed students,
right.
And usually it's like a 60-40 breakdown.
And so if it's like our son, they do some things with the general.
I worked with all of them.
Yeah. What I'm saying, do they isolate some special ed kids at times to work on certain stuff?
No.
They all at the same time?
All at the same time.
Got it. So let's talk about the day, because it looks like that this was, I think you said it was an off day and you really didn't have a schedule that day.
Yeah, we had our lunch schedule, but we didn't have our regular scheduled classes.
Right. And that's not a criticism, it's just the way it was.
No, it's just the way it was because it was only like a day or two before school was to be out.
And you had your award ceremony, and then so did some kids leave after the award ceremony?
Yes, sir.
And so the ones that stayed, it was more of a after school play time, just hang out.
Yeah, we were just gonna hang out. We had some projects. We had fun STEM projects we had been doing with them a few days, the day before. And we were gonna probably continue that later that afternoon and finish some of them up.
And just so the jury understands it, what's a STEM project?
STEM is science, technology. I can't remember it all. Anyways, it's basically like math, everything together, and they can create things. It's more of a creative way to use their minds. And so we're building roller coasters out of paper plates or stuff like that.
And then at some point, I think you described the noises you heard. You thought it might be maintenance working on things.
Yes.
And noises were normal.
It sounded just like metal on brick.
I want to also ask you, do you know what a bailout is?
Yes, I do.
Will you please describe to the jury what a bailout is?
A bailout was when we had illegals that they were basically chasing down, and they would stop and run out of their vehicles and hide from the police.
Or bailout is referencing bailing out from a vehicle and going on.
Running, yes. And we also had some chases in the air, just some chases with illegals through our area.
And in your opinion, was that pretty frequent in your area?
Yes, it was kind of normalized by then.
The bailout was normalized.
Then yes, the bailout.
And so is it fair to say when there was a lockdown called, and you tell me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like the lockdown lost its seriousness over time.
I know that for my classroom, we took it seriously all the time, but it was kind of like, oh, it's probably another bailout.
And that's what I mean. I mean, if it's when I was younger, fire drills was okay. It's a fire drill, right?
Yeah.
So you just have
Right.
another fire drill once a month. But this is not a drill. It was an actual bailout, and it seemed like that they, like you said, became normalized.
Right.
And so the lockdown procedures, it sounds like you followed them specifically. Do you know what the culture was about lockdown procedures?
I mean, we all feel like all the teachers there followed them, but also I didn't get the lockdown message on my phone, or actually I didn't have my phone because I left it on my desk.
And
on my watch was a text message, and then I recall maybe an email coming through, and that was like 11:36, somewhere in there about.
11:36, you got the lockdown message?
Yes.
Are you aware that he entered the building at 11:32:58?
I was aware after the fact, yes.
Yes.
From watching videos, yes.
Right. And when you say watching videos, and we've kind of had to deal with this with all witnesses.
Yeah.
Because it's been so publicized, everyone has seen stuff outside of your experience.
Correct.
Can I humbly ask you to try to focus on, and it sounds like you did a great job, focusing on what you were thinking and what you experienced at the time versus what anybody saw after based off of.
Yeah, no. How I was feeling at
Yes,
the
ma'am.
time,
Yeah.
I was very, very nervous. I had several like other people trying to call me on my watch, and I just said, one of them was my husband. I said, I can't talk. There's an active shooter in my building. I hung up.
And when you describe the lockdown, and there's two aspects to it, right? And I think they're broken down into hold and an actual lockdown, right?
Yes.
Hold means hold in place, don't go outside.
But you can continue teaching and doing your regular activities.
Right. And then the second one is, okay, this is more precautionary. This is the lockdown. The lockdown portion of it is where the lights lock the door and hide.
Correct.
Now you said something, because I want to get to the culture of door locks in a second. You also mentioned that I think the government asked you about if you guys went over these procedures, and you said they briefly went over them with us.
Yeah. Every year they kind of briefly go over it with us to like refresh us. Like, this is how you do each of these things. But like the state, and I don't know how many times a year it is, but the state has guidelines on how many times we have to have these drills.
Do you recall how many times the school had them?
Oh, we had them. I know at least 2 or 3 of them that year.
Okay. Lockdowns or the
Drills. Drills.
Okay.
Drills.
And so they would briefly go over them with you. And then one of the things about, as we've all gotten into this horrible incident, it seems like you're taught and the children are taught, and I understand, we all get it, to be quiet.
Yes.
But if you would know, if everyone is quiet inside, if somebody's outside, there would be no way for them to know if anybody's inside if they don't know the schedule. Is that a fair statement?
Well, yes and yes, but also if you don't know the procedures, you don't know that we're supposed to be in there quiet.
Agree. But also what we have found out, and I want your opinion about this, your school was not assigned a full-time officer.
No, we didn't have enough officers at that time to have one at each school.
And this is not a criticism of you. You understand?
Right. No, I understand.
I'm just saying, do you know if teachers had been requesting administration to have a full-time officer?
I don't recall that.
Okay. But the fact remains is there was not a full-time officer that
was at our campus all the time. Correct.
Now you talk about locking the doors. So every teacher was given a key to their door, correct?
Yes.
There wasn't a kind of key fob of
No,
badge.
no. We had none of that.
Right. And were there some teachers that used a magnet to make it easier for substitutes that didn't have keys?
I recall seeing some on some doors, but I didn't know if they used them or not.
Okay. But that was the teachers got a key, but substitutes didn't get a key.
That is correct.
Do you do you know, or do you have an opinion on the policy of the external doors? Because there was a policy that the external doors were supposed to be locked at all times.
A few years before this, I do remember it, like one of our principals really enforced it. But we hadn't really heard about locking all the doors, but the west end door was always locked that went out to the teacher's parking lot.
Do you know now that on this day, unfortunately, that door was not locked?
I do know that now, yes.
But policy wise, it was supposed to be
It was
locked.
supposed to be locked.
And I'm sorry you had to go through that 911 call again and reliving what you went through. But you said something important that caught my attention. You said, I thought he was in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And now you know that he walked upside the west. So he wasn't in the building when you thought. And that's not a criticism.
Right, I know.
Stress does interesting things to perception, right?
Yes.
Have you heard of the term perception distortion?
No, I have not.
Okay. But you understand stress is
Yes,
does different things to different people.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you said you thought he was either going to go in the south building, he didn't, correct?
No.
And when you were on 911 call, he wasn't actually in the building at the time.
I did not know that at that time.
When you were on the phone with 911, you were hearing multiple shots?
I heard multiple shots, not while I was on the phone with them, but before I was on the phone with them.
Right. So are you aware that by the time you were on the phone with 911, that he had already been in the building?
Yes.
Okay.
But now I am.
Right. At the time, you did not know.
No, I did not.
I think you testified on direct examination that when you got a message from a teacher that had been struck.
Yes.
What was the name of that teacher?
Elsa Avila.
Avila.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm looking at a diagram, you're on 102, correct?
Yes.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
Just this for me.
Okay.
Can I do this close to you?
Yes.
So if you're 102, where is
Elsa was this one, 109.
109.
Yes.
Let me just see.
I've got another one.
I just wanted to make sure. 109. Yeah, I'm good.
Sorry, guys. If you guys are saying something, I'm looking at something to bring up when this is finished.
My first witness, Judge?
Yes, sir.
I'm handing you the mark as defense exhibit 1 for identification only. You recognize defense 1, correct?
Yes.
And this is kind of a diagram of Robb Elementary.
This is a diagram of just the new building or the newer building at Robb Elementary.
And
Yes.
the new building is really the newer building,
The
right?
new, or it's not that new, but yes.
And 102 is where you were at. I'm assuming.
Yes, right here.
And then 109 is where Ms. Avila was?
Yes, just,
And is this diagram a fair and accurate depiction of the newer building?
yes.
Judge, I move defense 1 into evidence.
No objection.
Submitted.
Can I call it to the jury?
Yes.
And so,
Hi, Sydney. Have a great night. Thanks for dropping by. We're almost done with this witness, then we're going to do
At some
body
point,
cam footage.
the government asked you that your class was evacuated.
Yes.
Do you recall what agencies evacuated you from the window?
I do not. There were people dressed in, I didn't see faces. I saw uniforms and people still dressed in like their everyday clothes with tactical over it. But so I don't know all the agencies that were there.
But there were officers getting the kids out.
Yes, there were officers getting the kids out.
And do you know now that Adrian was one of those officers?
No, I still do not. I did not know that.
Okay. Well, I think you're a woman of honor to go last. Thank
Thank
you. Pass the witness, Judge.
No more questions, Your Honor?
Excuse, subject to recall.
Excuse. Judge.
Excused and no recall for us.
Ma'am, you have been excused, not subject to recall. Thank you very much. You can take off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little late on the recess. Let me give you 10 minutes. If you could do it as quickly as possible, and we'll see you back in 10, and we'll go a little past 5. Everyone rise for the jury. Bring my official time.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to start body cam because this guy is
the same bullet defect on that wall. You can see our markers showing the bullet defect.
he basically took the rods, those like trajectory rods, and place them in the bullet. Probably gonna get dinged for that. Holes on the wall to just show that, you know, things were going on inside of the classrooms in case some crazy person thinks it didn't actually happen. Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and switch this over. All right. I will advise you, warn you that the very first guy has, I don't even, it might be like acid reflux from anxiety. That happens to a lot of storm chasers that I know, or like me, a post-nasal drip, which I take medicine for, but it drove me crazy listening to this guy. But it's important, so we're gonna deal with it.
Which building? Blue! Come up with me! Come up with me! They got shots fired in the building! Hey! No!
That could have been COVID.
Shots fired in the building! I heard somebody say someone was shot in the head! I don't know! They haven't said anything! Fuck, this is fuck. Hey, we going in or we staying here? What are we doing? Stay up perimeter, bro. We can't. Get in the center, somebody. Hey, we need crowd control. Son of a bitch. What the fuck's going on, dude? This is fucked.
That's one way to put it.
What if he comes around? We're here fucking make sure we got covered, man.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for joining me.
Breathe, Justin. Come on. Where? Beck, where you want us? Let's go, Blue, come on. What building are you at? Behind y'all.
I got something to share. Okay, before I share the rest of this, you guys, so I think this is important enough. Today during trial, and there's a reason why I don't show you today's clips. I need to go through them first and make sure they're not super boring, and I'm just keeping it very high level and giving you guys the information that you need to know to be informed and be able to talk with people about it and in a professional and knowledgeable way. With that being said, because you're probably going to hear about it, there was another disruption during the trial today, and I just copied what the judge said, and I'm going to post it in the chat. It's probably going to go into like two comments, but if you are watching, look at what I'm posting in the chat right now. Yeah, it went into 2 comments. I want this case to go to verdict. Any further outburst will just echo the attempt for another motion for mistrial, Harley said. So please think about that. We're trying to get this case to the jury, and these are not helping. Soon enough, if this continues, I will have no choice but to grant a mistrial. So please think about that. That's crazy. All right, we're going to continue, but just so that's on your radar. And that's never a good look. Never do that. Never do that. I know these people are mourning, but never do that.
I'm on it. Hey, hold on. It's Tony right here, brother. It's Tony. We got to get him. He's armed inside the building. He's contained. The building. Hey, watch windows. Get cover. Hold it. Watch that door. Juan, watch. I got rifle behind you. Fuck.
I agree, maybe. I love this
Where's
guy.
his hit? Hey, who's that? Hey, Juan, watch that window to your left. Who's that lady yelling? Contact DES as well, so they're aware. Bro, what the fuck's going on, Gil? Somebody's over there. On the west side of the building. He's contained. We got both walls to this side of the building at the time.
I think it's after reflex.
Phone? Yes. What do you need?
830 486 8448.
8448?
Yes.
Sure, we have a house.
I haven't got to it. We can't do it.
I know. Hey, I love you. We got an active shooter at the school.
He must be a saint.
I will. We're good. I'll talk to you in a bit. I will. Bye. Fuck, man, I hope this guy didn't fucking shoot any kids, bro.
Have you guys watched this before?
Get away! Get away!
Switch over to PD primary. Switch to PD primary.
309 to go ahead and see a mirror too. There should be a mirror there so that we can go ahead and look at our corners here. 422. Has he answered the radio, bro? 19, your status.
Evaluate PDS, just divide 401, stated you got the shooter in room 1101 code. You're going to be armed with a rifle or be armed with a rifle.
I got rifle. Who has rifle up there? What room? What room?
Down that hallway, second door to the left.
Chopper's in here. Fuck, I thought he was here. Who's here? Is anybody here? Keep everybody back. Hey, watch that back window. Tell the watch from the back. Shot out the windows. Hey, watch it, bro. He's in that back room. He's popping shots off. He shot the windows out. He's in the back room on the far inside.
There we go.
Hey, there's no kids here? You want to get her out of here or you want to keep her in the room? Watch it. Watch him behind you. Go, go. Watch there's distractions right here. Come over here. Hey, cost us up.
I can't believe I got a hole in my little sweater.
What do you need to do?
You're in the crossfire of the rifle.
Yes, we can do that too. Is there a window where we can try to do negotiation? There might be a window. Just to let you know, we do have a suspect that's been in the classroom. The windows are
Sorry.
Wally,
People like Diane, I can't answer your comments and show the video. So please be just know that I'm trying to respond to messages, as are my my mods, but right now is actually a very busy time for my mods. So it's just me right now, and I'm doing my best to keep things afloat. So if it takes me a while to respond, that's why. Thanks.
who's watching it back there?
Thank you. I know you're on your union mandated break. Hopefully Jim laughed at that.
Hey Jay, it matter after this, you can use this in there from the office. Is this a stop?
No, I don't know what this was.
This is Reed's room.
Yes. Is there any kids?
I don't know. Hey, Staff Sergeant, watch your finger if you're gonna pull the trigger there. I don't want you to lose your finger. We got one shield.
Do you have a team that can stack and roll put the shield around?
We have one shield.
Shield right here. You do have a shield around.
We need a bullhorn first. We'll start trying to do negotiations first.
They just trying to look at one already with access to communications and platform.
Hey, somebody get the ocean, get those shields.
Wait, see if I can talk. Just wait.
Who said just wait?
I'm right, someone can get hurt, but I'm not. Eddie, do you have a stack that comes together to connect the program?
You can build latches on the door to open. So kind of
We all want to get in there, Javi. We all want to get in there. Trust me. Whole shit, she has shields. She can't get through the traffic, though. She needs to get up here.
have a shield right there.
I can't hear you, bro. Yeah, they need a long arm over there. They should be coming in.
Fuck. 401's in there.
401 is in the shoe. Which shoe is 401?
Pete.
No. Pete over there.
Yeah, that's.
Pete is not with the shooter. 401 is not with the shooter. No. Javi, come on. Javi, come on.
Holster.
I don't want to leave. Fine. Fine. Friendly.
Who's hit?
See the chair?
We need a stack with that shield.
Pete, watch it. Pete, goddamn. Where's the shield?
All right, guys. I need to see if I can take my dog to the vet tonight. She's throwing up more. Let me make a call. I'm going to keep this on.
Yes.
Eddie.
Hey, hold on.
We can move that.
Hey, he's on the phone with Pete. Hold on.
He's inside the room.
No, he's not. He's outside. He's not. He's down in the hall.
We can move that box, close that door. It's a 2-hour rated door. You'll at least hold up some kind of reflection. We can stay behind that one door. That will at least remove us from the crossfire window. Huh? There's no negotiation. Let's back up behind that door.
Hold on.
On the phone with Pete right now. Negotiation here. So Pete's on the phone right now. He's gonna be an instant from that right now.
Yeah, we checked one right here.
Might still be there locked down, so we turn off the lights.
Switch. Come through. There's teachers.
You're having hesitation, so it's possible there.
They're clearing some rooms that are down there. Double checking. So where's he at? The 2 desk?
The chairs.
Okay.
But 100% he's not in
No.
the room.
Yes. Yeah. He's going to clear in that room next to him. He's in some negotiations.
I went in there, I got officer, we got the 28 return to a local address. Got officer going up. His vehicle. We're in the protocol. So we may do something.
There's a door down the hallway, door down the hallway.
Hey guys, I there's not enough time to explain. I really gotta go. I'm sure she's fine, but there's a lot of things going on right now. I can't explain. I will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Please make sure to give this stream a like. A lot goes into this. Thank you, maybe. Just gonna be safer than sorry and make sure that she's okay. All right, guys. Love you all. Talk soon. Bye.